Welcome to Death by Daylight.
Again.
Again. Um, hopefully we fixed the problem. If we didn't, we'll probably try one more thing. So if we go, bear with us.
Spectrum,
In the
if you're
meantime,
listening, fucking fix your shit.
who?
Spectrum.
Oh yeah, all the time. Fucking Eric was like, "Beachy AOL dial-up." Um, yeah, so we're going to be talking about the year in review. We're going to be. Michelle actually just asked me if we were going to do something as interactive as the Christmas episode. It worked, and I'm trying to figure out how to continue to do that. It's easier when we're talking about one topic or at least one set of movies. There's a lot of different stuff going in today. So the way you guys can participate is by typing in by suggesting in the comments. Yeah, I don't know why it bothered me so much, but sending us your suggestions so that we can help you and talk about what we're going to be doing, and we can take your movies and your suggestions and go into more detail, whether we've seen them or not. Hopefully we have seen them. If not, I mean, feel free to enlighten us, give us some recommendations. And with that said, I'll give you some more heads up about what we're doing. Spoiler alerts, preemptively, there's gonna be some stuff that we're gonna spoil, unfortunately. But we will give you a spoiler alert before we say anything, and because they're newer movies, so we don't want to ruin that if you just haven't gotten around to see them. Usually we'll try to keep the spoilers short. If you want to just like turn your volume down and then turn it back up a little bit later, then that should work, I think. But yeah, that's it. So we're going to we introduced ourselves and all that stuff already. We haven't even gotten to talking about what we're drinking. So Ernie, what are you drinking?
A Coors Light and a bottle of Bullet.
Coors Light, Bullet. How apropos. Michelle, what are you drinking?
Drinking all the good stuff. No. I have a bottle of Becherovka. God, I think I mispronounced that. It's like if you're tired of Fernet, you just switch over to this. It's
Ooh.
equally as abrasive on your palate. And then, as far as like what I'm like sipping on, it's also part of the cocktail minute. And here's play cocktail minute music. Beep 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 beep. Perfect. That's the one. Because we're
What
talking
was it?
about 2020, 2020 year from hell. I mean, what else than a fucking twisted tea, man? Like,
Yo,
just fucking
yeah. Fuck yeah.
knocked us all on our ass in different ways, in different means. Like, people lost like, oh my gosh, so many people lost their job. They, got kicked out. Just, it was just a fucking twisted tea to the face. And
Yeah.
what more? I didn't see anything else that was more appropriate than that. And
No.
yes, that is what I'm sipping on, with the side of the other stuff that I mentioned that I probably butchered the pronunciation. So that's my cocktail minute. Sorry, got a little lazy, but appropriate.
Hey, I think yeah, I think everyone's a little knocked back by the events of the last couple of days. Try not to get
Yeah.
political here on Death by Daylight, but if you've not been living under a rock, then you can see that our country is in great turmoil. Um,
Fucking
but
twisted tea to the face.
Twisted Tea to the face, I love it. I love Twisted Tea.
So,
Yeah, so
yeah.
I think that that's a fantastic choice.
Cool. Well,
We're
cheers.
going, yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
Um, so like I said, we're going to be talking about, predominantly talking about, like a set, like several movies each. Ernie can add stuff, but mostly he's going to be focusing on playing because that's where we're doing things. And Michelle and I have brought some movies to the table for discussion. Like we said, if you want to put your suggestions, your favorite movies of the year, or your something that you've seen that you want to share with us that we haven't quite gotten to yet, please do. We would love to hear where we got it right or where we got it wrong, or just suggestions about what we can watch, because I guarantee you we're very interested. And with that, Ernie, do you want to talk about your killer and your build? Or,
I'm gonna play nurse. It's gonna since we're like on the topic of like year from hell and shit. I'm just gonna play nurse, and you can see me be fucking miserable.
Oh, nice. I like it. Because it's hard to... She's like a hard killer, right?
Yeah, she looks sick as fuck, but yeah, she's fucking hard
That's
to
funny.
use.
I was gonna suggest plague, just because plague.
Aw,
Sorry, but I'll stop.
I
No,
would, but like
I like that too.
I've like never used her.
But she's my
Ever?
favorite. I think I've mentioned. Yeah.
I've
she's
used her before, but I've never leveled her up.
Oh.
So yeah,
Um,
but
yeah, so... And then
nurse.
do you have like a build ready to go, or that you want to talk
Yeah,
about?
I kind of do. It's like nothing spectacular. It's just ruin to make the generators regress if they get off. The Natophobia, they receive a penalty to repairing for each one that gets hurt. Sloppy Butcher, they take longer to heal after I hit them. And Nurse's Calling, when they're like within 28 meters of me, I can see their aura if they're healing. So, should be okay. Nothing too crazy. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna be miserable.
Like the rest of us all year. Although I know you were plenty miserable then, so you're double punishing yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so excited about this part of it. He's gonna go ahead and get started. We are gonna pay attention while we chat as
We
much as
have
we possibly can.
Megan saying Jay. We have Jared saying he's drinking a Four Loco.
Hello,
Re-
Megan and Luis and Violet. Hello, Jared. Jared's been
Rebecca
on a fucking Four Loco kick lately, dude.
Rebecca's on too. She says hi all.
Rebecca. Hi, Bex.
What's up? Thanks for coming back. Appreciate y'all. I know Eric's out there somewhere too, because he told me he was going to be listening. And yeah, so we're going to go ahead and start the game. If you've never been here before, the way that this game works is that whenever Ernie gets a hook or breaks a gen, then we will have a drink. On the first and third kills, we will have a drink. On the second and fourth kills, we will be having a shot. And take it from there. We're very glad to be here in 2021 with you guys here. Thank God fucking 2020 is over. That's what this show is all about. So, yes, absolutely. So, yeah. If you just got on, like, be thinking about your favorite movies from your favorite horror movies from 2020, and also stuff that you may be looking forward to see in 2021. There's a lot of stuff that's been announced, but I had a hard time actually finding some of it. So, yeah, let us know.
Oh, I also took a Mori for Nurse in case I can hook someone twice. I can like kill them, but see if that happens.
Usually you have to hook them 3 times.
So they nerfed Moris where before you can hook someone, and then as immediately like after you like get unhooked, they can just go up to you, down you, and then kill you. But now you have to be like on your death hook to be Mori'd, so it's pretty cool.
Oh, okay.
There's no more like, well, sometimes there's like those shitty killers that just tunnel you off a hook, but it's not as bad anymore because they nerfed it pretty good.
For sure.
So, just in case anyone missed it, I added the cocktail minute to the comments because I know, someone just wanted it. Just in case you missed it, it's there.
Bo show.
But yeah.
This is gonna be miserable. I can already tell, guys. I'll try to like impress, but I don't
See,
know.
and it doesn't necessarily work out like we would want it to, because if we're miserable, we obviously like want to have some pretty stiff drinks, and you're gonna be kind of taking that away from us, I think. Hopefully, you just fucking wreck and have a 4K.
If I get 1 kill, well, at least take a shot.
For sure.
This is a pretty
Half of
decent
the
map.
kill.
So.
You don't have to fucking convince me.
We'll find reasons. Regardless.
Yeah.
It's fine. People listening in will be like, yo, that was awesome. Shot. And we'll be like, yeah, you're right. That was awesome. Shot. Thanks for listening and watching along with us.
Thank you for acknowledging that we did a good job. We appreciate that. What is she holding? Is it a syringe? No?
It's a blade.
Oh,
It has a little rose on it.
Yeah. So some stuff I'm gonna get out of the way now, because I know, like, there's gonna be stuff that obviously people are gonna tell us we missed. Right now, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I was very stuck between Peninsula, which is the second installment of Train to Busan. It's the sequel to Train to Busan. I really wanted to talk about that movie, but felt like it should have its own episode, and so I kind of saved it. I think there's at least one movie on this list that is going to be its own episode, because we can tie it in with some other stuff. And then the future movies, obviously, depending on how good they are, could possibly also be a future episode by themselves. But yeah, so before I hear it from the Train to Busan people, Eric says he's dead. Jared says, is that Father Flame himself? What's good? Father Flame. Fucking, yeah, so Train to Busan people, Korean horror people, I'm as ashamed as anyone else that I didn't give it the proper chance to be stand on hard on this episode, but I'm also in the found footage camp, and so I went closer that way.
I mean, honestly, coming up with films for this specific episode, like what we chose to talk about, it was a little difficult. There was a lot of times I was going like back and forth, like, oh no this, oh no this. But yeah, I kind of agree. The ones that I was like, I really wanted to choose and talk about, I was like, no, that would be a great like standalone episode, because we can tie in other stuff like Peninsula. I totally agree with you on that. I'm kind of really glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, and I thought about it as I was picking, like, fuck, this is like a lot more difficult than I could possibly even imagine. And it turned out to be that way. I really love some of these films, but it just the way that it worked out, we obviously just couldn't fucking name everything. But I like what we put together, and I can't. The 2021 stuff, I can't stress enough how much I looked, but I guess people just got fucked. I mean, there aren't a lot of movies being made right now. As a matter of fact, the one that I'm going to talk about was filmed in 2018, and was supposed to come out in 2019, and then it was supposed to come out last year, and it didn't for those reasons. So I wish I could have picked something like more indie horror, or at least from a director that I was familiar with, but I'm not. So there you go. Eric says, "Hell yeah, Uncle Chronic." That's still Jared's name on Twitter. If you want to follow Uncle Chronic at Uncle Chronic, On Twitter, that's Jared. Those nicknames are from a dog's age ago. Like a long, long time ago. Like 2011 or 12. Maybe 13? I don't know. Long, long time. But that was a good time. Better times in our lives. Do we have anything so far, Ernie?
No.
They've got a gen down.
They have 2 gens done.
Oh. I guess I'm a little bit behind because I have 3. It says 3 gens. But...
Yeah, that means they start with 5.
Oh,
so...
I thought they started with 4. I really should be like more on top of knowing this stuff, considering we do a podcast about it.
Oh yeah, and the nurse is slower than like every other killer too.
Slower?
Yeah, like her movement speed. It's super slow.
Doesn't she have something that like redeems that aspect? The fact that
she can teleport, but it's super hard to do. And I'm fucking boosted, so like I am trash at this. I just figure might as well fucking make shit miserable for myself. I'm super boosted and missing like easy shots.
Wait, so when you say that you're super boosted, you mean like your perks, or?
No, I mean like I suck.
Oh, I get it. I didn't know what full tilt meant until recently, so...
Like, boosted is like a way that like people say stuff, because like, when you're at a level that you shouldn't be, because you suck, like... like someone else boosted you to that fucking level.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just kinda... Yeah, full tilt is like when you just get super pissed off at the game.
See, I read that it was like, you getting to a point in a game where, like, you've played it so much that that you're, like, not doing as well because you're, like, overthinking it.
There's that too.
Maybe Jared can give us some insight as to how people use it. Yeah, I mean, that's what I thought it was. I've been there, definitely. Like, with FIFA and stuff, you just, like, just break. Like, your brain just breaks, and you're like, what the fuck happened? Why, like, I cannot score a goal right now to save my fucking life, and I don't understand what's going on. Eric says, get that fool. Jared says, so that's a hook. Do we not drink on hooks? Yeah, we do drink on hooks. We definitely drink.
What?
We almost exclusively drink on hooks. So that's a drink. Full tilt isn't, full tilt in pinball, or comes from pinball. I understand that part, but people use it in reference to, like, streamers and stuff that play games all the time, and then I had to look it up. I feel old usually when there's like young cool slang on the market. I can fucking, like, I'm right on top of it. This was not one of those cases. I had to go and look up what full tilt, the way that they use it now. If I'm being honest, I couldn't tell you what it means in pinball. Like, I have no idea what I don't know anything about pinball. So I don't know.
in pinball, I love pinball. That refers to when you basically, isn't it like, yeah, you fuck around with the machine so much, you know, if you like bang on it or whatever, you're hitting it too hard. Oh god, someone correct me if I'm wrong. That it just, you can't even use the, oh my gosh, words would just what are the things called that you hit?
Bumpers?
The bumpers. Yeah, like you can't even hit those. Like everything basically stops, and the ball just like falls down because like you just missed it. So it's basically, I guess, in a sense, a version of that because you're getting so irritated with the game that you're just like hitting anything and everything that it all just locks up, and then you lose your ball for that game.
Come to think of it, I mean, it sounds familiar, certainly. But
Maybe I'm wrong?
No, and it actually makes sense for the way that people are using it in reference to streamers, because it's like if you play the game so much that you're like broken, and I guess that's what it means. Like you're just doing too much, and it fucking goes the other way. I don't know. We've got Jared says, I haven't heard boosted in a long time, but I think it's what Ernie was saying. Full tilt is a little old too. I get tilted in Call of Duty or Overwatch. Alright. Thank you for using it in a sentence.
No, yeah, I looked it up. That's basically what it means. It's just you're using it too much. You're messing around moving it that the flippers and everything just lock up, and then it allows the ball to fall out of play. So yeah, I love pinball. I fucking love it. I pinball the shit, and yeah.
What is the appeal? What is the appeal here on pinball? If you don't mind giving us an insight to your personal life.
No, yeah, definitely. It is. Okay, so I think I've mentioned on this before. I can't really play video games like this, right? Like Dead by Daylight. I get motion sickness. I can't focus on. It's just like right now, way too fast for me. Can't really watch. So I prefer more puzzle-like games. There's one I started playing called, I'm calling it Gris. It's spelled Gris, and it's basically you're given certain things, you put it together, a puzzle happens, and then you move on to the next level. So I think pinball, in a sense, is kind of like that, but it's more hands-on. To me, it's more, I know where it's gonna go if I aim it directly here. Like, it is, like, a lot of people think it's just hit the flippers, it'll go wherever, it's just, like, luck. No, actually, you can hold the ball on the flipper on a specific area, hit it there, and it'll go directly into a thing. You can activate the like multi-ball play. It's all of that, and also, you know, it helps if you have it based off the game, based off of like your favorite movie, your favorite superhero. There was one that I really liked that had Elvira, and she was on the couch. And anytime you did something bad, she'd say something like clever and kind of demeaning, you know? So I think for me personally, it's like, you know, I can concentrate on a ball rolling around, and yeah, it does go fast, but it doesn't get me overly dizzy. I can still focus and aim and pause it when I need to. It's, I think, a little more controllable. There's not a lot of outside factors, unless, of course, you have like other things that start moving or spinning, you know?
Yeah,
and it also has this like retro feel to it. Again, it's a whole hands-on, like, I control all the things aspect to it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's obviously like it's got like a cult following. You know what I mean? It's like there are people who are very fucking into pinball. I used to play pinball on the computer. It was like the only game on the computer at school, and so I used to fuck around with some. But like that's what it is for me. It's like this game that like I'll play it if I have like nothing else to play. But even like I like skee ball or like hot shots better than I like playing pinball.
See, I love skee ball as well, but to me with skee ball, there's like less things I can control. But there is the whole like the aiming aspect, right? And yeah, I can control my arm, but that's different than like my hand controlling a flipper and me aiming something like right where it has to be, because mechanically that can't move. Where if I'm drinking too much, my hand will shake too much and I can't roll the thing up properly, you know? Like,
yeah.
shit like that.
Like, I did a thing.
You did a thing?
Yeah.
You killed it.
We got 2 kills. Whoa. You didn't? Did you practice at all?
I mean, I've played with nerfs before.
No, I know, but like, I mean, you're the one that said you weren't like very good with it.
These guys were just suicidal.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Same.
Stupid.
Fucking, they're just bad or they're risky.
Right.
Shmee. They were just stupid. Like they should have. I like was playing like shit, and they just didn't fucking bother
Listen to you.
like doing the gens, and they were trying to save too much, so they were like overly altruistic.
Yeah.
And now they're healing instead of like getting the doors. So I'm pretty sure one of them will come up right now. So I might get one more
Overly
kill.
altruistic. What a concept. I
There they
said, hey, what a concept. I could use a little fuel myself. Fucking Smash Mouth. Do you know that? Speaking of 2020, one of the super spreader events that was considered one of the super spreader events in 2020 was a Smash Mouth concert.
Really?
Why is that so funny?
Cause like all the things that you're gonna risk your life to do, you just want to see someone sing All Star live. Like you're not getting enough of the recorded version of Everybody's Walking on the Sun. You know what I mean? I don't understand it, but
I mean, like, if the Mars Volta had gotten together and were like, fuck it, we're gonna do the last show, I don't care if it's a pandemic, like, yeah, I might have risked my life a little bit. Like, I would have been probably nervous and crying the entire time. But, yeah, what the hell?
no, I think that you're right. Like, I think there are bands that could have convinced me, not very many of them. And you're right, like, I would have been very nervous. I would have been almost upset at myself and at the band for putting me in that position.
Yeah,
but like
definitely.
like Aesop Rock, like I'm not gonna miss Aesop Rock. Like he could be doing a no masks show in a basement somewhere. I'd be like, I have to fucking show up at least for a while.
Like, stand in the very back, like, no one fucking talk to me, but, like, I'm gonna be there for a minute or two.
Alright, I'm done with this game,
but
guys. These guys
how
are
many
playing
kills do you have?
too scared. I got 2. I just, like, opened the gate so they can get the fuck out.
For sure. I mean, that's pretty fucking good considering what we were expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand going and risking your life to see Smash Mouth, and not to disparage the good people of Smash Mouth, but I have no interest in giving myself COVID in order to see them, even in a time of my life where I am literally starving for live music. I'm physically sick because there's no live music in my life. And I still would not go to see Smash Mouth.
And even then, yeah.
Eric says,
Eric's comment, yeah.
if they were all dressed as Shrek, it would be worth it.
Sessad would be like front row and center. Shrek is his shit.
Shrek is
Shrek
love.
is right.
Shrek is life.
Shrek is life. There was a Shrek musical. That was him quoting it. Yeah, I think when it was
Quoting the Shrek musical?
Yes, it was streaming on like Netflix, I believe, or Amazon Prime. And there was a while when we'd get out of work and he would just lay on the floor and just like play it and be like, "This is my jam," and like have a drink, like just on the floor watching the musical.
I need to watch you get out. Yes, guy. Yes.
Yeah.
This guy was like, "You need to watch me leave. Watch me leave."
No.
It's all Shrek and only the lead singer's donkey. That I feel like that would optimize. There's like a dragon on stage somewhere, and the lead singer starts to fuck it. dressed as donkey.
Donkey.
There is a dragon
NPCs
on the stage, and it's just fucking ridiculous in like the best way. But yeah,
just
this
go ahead.
honestly makes a lot of sense. Why they were pretty decent, because they were fucking red ranks and one purple rank. So,
nice. Eh, that's worth the drink and like half a shot, right?
yeah. Now I'm
I
gonna
mean,
play.
it's worth it. It's worth at least one shot, even by the normal rules. So,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Now I'll play Ghostface and start dicking everybody over.
It's a shot.
Ghostface, you
Everyone.
have a request for Oni too?
Oh, I do?
Yeah,
Okay, I'll play Oni.
Yeah.
Who wants to see Oni?
Jared.
Alright, bet. I got you, fam.
Because he says he wants to drink.
Oh, if you want to drink,
I
I'll
guess-
play Ghostface. That's my, like... I'll
I'm
play Oni.
down for that.
I'll do both.
Always, yeah.
Yeah.
Michelle's always down for Ghostface. Okay, so let's get into the why we're here. We've got a list for you, like I said at the beginning of the episode. I brought 3 to 4, kind of 3.5 films. Michelle has brought 3 films to the table. We are going to talk briefly about honorable mentions that we might want to throw in here or there. The future movies, or the movies that haven't been released yet, obviously we have, like, a trailer and then information to give you. So, obviously there's no spoilers there. What we're trying to avoid on spoilers is the movies that just came out. So, one of mine, even though I saw it this year, it did not just come out. So, I'm going to spoil it because it came out, like, 2-3 years ago. Although I'll still give, like, a warning here or there. And then another one that obviously, like, it just came out this year, and actually I would really encourage you, like a lot of other movies, to just go and watch it. There's no reason not to. So,
Actually-
again, preemptive... What?
I was like, actually... like, yeah, never mind. Sorry. It's...
I just did it. I didn't catch it, and then I didn't get it. No, it's too late.
It's just like those nerds on like Reddit that you say something and they're like, actually, it's this.
I say actually all the time, but not like that though.
Cheers.
Here is we're gonna go ahead and get started with our stuff, but first we're going to take a shot and we're gonna have some drinks and try to be merry, ladies and gentlemen of our audience, dear listeners of our audience. Hopefully this year isn't a fucking dumpster fire. It's already started as a dumpster fire. But we just have to hope that only like part of the dumpster's on fire. Something's going to come and put it out. Because we jumped from one burning dumpster into this dumpster. And then immediately, I feel like we may have been on fire still. And then started a fire in this dumpster. So, here's to prosperity, ladies and gentlemen of the audience. Here is to health. Here is to good fortune for you and your people, and actually for everyone in your life. Cheers.
Cheers.
Salud. Also, happy birthday, David Bowie. Man.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Caesar.
Yes. Happy birthday, Caesar.
Happy birthday, Caesar! Yay!
I wasn't quite being disgusted with my shot, so I didn't catch the cue.
He's
man.
looking around so confused.
Before you
It's okay, you'll get it.
you get into the topic.
Go on, spit it out.
I want to let everybody know that Josh has a revolutionary idea. He tried to plant a Deep Eddies tree
Oh boy.
while he was intoxicated.
Oh boy.
It didn't
Tell
work.
me more.
Is that what we're doing? We're just sandbagging people on here now? Without any warning?
You wanted to plant a deep eddy tree?
Here's what happened. Okay.
Okay.
We had a gift exchange, safe gift exchange, which has actually been proven that we were safe. But that's a story for another year. We were very safe in our gift exchange. It was outside. There was a fire. Everyone was wearing masks when they were around each other. But I got very drunk because I had not seen my friends in a long time, and it was cold, and it was nice just to be in the company of other human beings that don't live directly in my household. And so I obviously took advantage, and some stuff happened. There was quite a bit of eventful things. One of them was Manny almost breaking his neck going into a car. There was a lot of stuff, but apparently the next day, I had lost the gift that I received. The gift I received contained a couple things. The first one was a shot glass, a Hamilton shot glass that said, "I am not throwing away my shot," which I thought was delightful. There was a bottle of Deep Eddy's Red Grapefruit Vodka, which I greatly appreciate. And there was a DVD called Midgets vs. Mascots.
Oh my god.
And it's one of my favorite movies. I watched it for the first time in college, and then we watched it probably 20 times in college. And you cannot find it in the United States because it's incredibly offensive, I imagine, even though it was not made that long ago. It was not made that long ago. And you can't stream it. You can't fucking find it. And so Heather, the beautiful soul that she is, for my exchange gift, she ordered me Midgets vs. Mascots DVD from the UK, which is just really, really fantastic. Scottie Pippen's in it, and it's a really funny movie. But anyway, the tree. What happened was that Ernie, the next day, I had lost my bottle of Deep Eddies among the chaos, and Ernie found it underneath a tree in the front yard. And so there was a joke made that I was trying to plant a vodka tree and hope that it would grow. But it didn't, sadly. And my vodka was ruined. In the sun, I would imagine.
No, it was under the tree, so it was in the shade.
Is it there? Is it there still?
Yeah, it's in my
on
my table.
Maybe I'll go swing by and grab it one of these days when I'm really desperate for vodka. Yeah, so that's what happened. I was just saying the name of the movie. I don't want any fucking hate for it. That's the name of it. So I didn't make it. Don't hate the player, hate the game. I just happened to watch it, and then it became intertwined in my life because it's fucking hilarious. And that's not going to be on my list of movies for 2020. I'm going to start with, and I just figured we'll go back and forth here, Michelle, and I will go ahead and start with my first movie, which is my pick for the horror movie that came out in 2020, that was released in 2020, not necessarily the one that I saw, like from earlier. And so spoiler alerts for this movie. I'll give the premise as best as I can, and then I won't spoil it until like the very, there will be like 30 seconds of spoiler towards the end of what I'm talking about. But the movie that I have is a movie called Host. And this was a movie that was made in 2020 and released in 2020. It was made while we were already in quarantine, and it's a movie entirely on Zoom. So it's counted as found footage, which again, every time I get to sound the found footage alarm, I'm gonna do it, or pump them up, because I really all year have been watching found footage horror films like constantly. There's a lot of them that I wanted to bring to the table, but this is the one that won because it's so innovative in the way that it was made. It's a perfect example of the human spirit within this pandemic, and that spirit being the spirit to adapt and change and do what we want to do as human beings against all odds. Now, I'm not talking about being stupid and going to a Smash Mouth concert without a mask in the middle of the pandemic. I'm talking about continuing to be good to each other, continuing to build things, continue to make money, and like keep your life afloat despite how hard things have been. We adapt, we overcome, improvise, adapt, overcome, as Bear Grylls would say. And we've done that all year, and this movie is a perfect embodiment of that spirit. Because someone had a fucking dream to make a horror movie, and they didn't, they saw this opportunity presented to them, and they fucking snatched it up. It's on Shudder, so you can get a free week of Shudder. And,
yeah, they don't accept my made-up emails anymore. I'm a little upset.
They're just like, no, we know it's
like,
you.
Stop, bitch! You've been doing this for like 3 years. Just pay already. Anyway,
I pay $5 a month for it. I got in before they moved it to $7. I think there's still a 5 option somehow. I'm just not sure what the stipulation is. Anyway. For me, it's well worth it. It's a lot of really great horror movies, but if you haven't used your free trial, you can use it and you can watch Host. Also, if you're gonna get a free trial and like commit to watching like as many horror movies as you can in that free week, send me a message and I will tell you what to watch on there to maximize your time.
Yes, likewise. There's one, I'll already say the name. It's called Mexico Barbaro. It's like a anthology of like little short films. Fucking amazing. All having to do with like Mexican folklore stories. So really great. A lot of beautiful women too. Anyway, continue.
There's also La Llorona on there. Do not watch it.
Yeah,
and it's not even. It's not even like fucking the Conjuring La Llorona, which was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. But then there's like this other La Llorona that's done, like it's in Spanish, but it has nothing to do with the fucking Llorona. Like they're just butchering this concept over and over and over. Anyway, so Host is a movie, like I said, that was shot entirely in quarantine. It's shot entirely on Zoom, and it is available on Shudder. The biggest parts of this movie that I want to highlight, other than the spirit of the whole thing, is how just enjoyable it is for everyone. Like if you're not into like artsy horror like I am, or like indie horror, this is going to be for you. If you're not into big budget horror, this is also going to be for you, because it's a nice medium between both worlds. It's a nice means, because you find yourself with a couple of jump scares, and it looks very good, but it's not so indie that it looks bad or that it's slow. The effects are pretty great in it, and it only runs 50 minutes, which was a perfect time. I think a lot of movies, and I cannot express this enough, so many movies don't trim the fat because they want to go over a certain amount of time so that they can be eligible for awards. Okay? This happens entirely too often. This movie is 50 minutes, and it is perfect for 50 minutes. It doesn't... if it was an hour and 20 minutes, it would have been entirely too fucking long. And so good for them for making that decision, because it worked the fuck out. And I was just very, very impressed by it. And so it's done with the premise of COVID, right? So they're like, yeah, it's all done in quarantine and all that, but it's not like, COVID isn't mentioned. Like, no, the reason they're doing this Zoom thing is because of COVID. Like, they're using Zoom for the same reasons that we used Zoom. and it's all centered around that. There's they're doing a seance on Zoom because they're bored and they want to see each other. That's the concept of the story. Spoiler alert for like the next 5 seconds after I count down from 3, 2, 1. Everybody dies, and it's awesome. It's so fucking sweet. The deaths are all very, very well done. It's entertaining. Even the opening is not slow. There's a lot that happens very quickly, and then it's just an uphill and fast roller coaster it's really, really great, or downhill, I should say. And you're not going to recognize anybody in it, which is something that I also like. I like it when someone gets a start at their career and then it's a good start, because I imagine that all of these people are going to go places. And it is British, but only 2 people have British accents, I think. No, the opposite. There's an American who's very prominent in the movie. It was directed by Rob Savage. I just wanted to get his name in there because he did a fantastic job. So that's my first recommendation, and it's my highlighted movie of 2020. I thought, is it a little on the nose as far as theme? Yes, it's a movie about quarantine. But it just can't be ignored. It's found footage again, which is something that I'm always going to support, always going to stand found footage horror, and really just applaud their decisions from head to toe, man. The casting, the effects, what they did with their budget, and like I said, the decision to make it 50 minutes and not just add a bunch of bullshit. I feel like that's almost revolutionary, because it tells other people, hey, like, don't fucking make your movie longer than it needs to be for stupid reasons. Like, trim the fat, get it done. And that's mine. Did you have anything to say about this movie, Michelle?
Yeah, just briefly. One, I had a question.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me preface it. I was listening to my other podcast today, and they were actually talking about the idea of how films are going to move on, like, post-pandemic, right? Like, are things going to stay the same? Are people, like, if there's a birthday scene, are they still going to blow the candles out, and then share the cake, because it's the pandemic, COVID, it has changed so many things. Like, I know me personally watching a film, and I see, like, all these people, like, in a club or sharing cocktails or, whatever. I'm just like, fuck, we used to do that, Like, it's just like, why were we doing this type of thing, right? Like, I feel it has impacted our life and how, we used to do things socially or whatever, but also in art, in film. And they were talking about how it's going to affect specifically films and television if COVID's going to be, if films were going to be made about surrounding COVID versus having it like a background thing, right? Like, hey, let's go shopping, and they just unconsciously like, put on the mask, right? Like, it's not set out right because of COVID, right? But it's just right. There because that's part of our life now. It's part of something that we've lived and gone through, right?
Yeah.
So going back to the question I had, do you think this film was, think of the Oscar Wilde quote, life imitates art far more than art imitates life. Can you make a connection there with this and what we have been living with and this film? Or can you not? Or your thoughts about everything I just said in general.
Well, everything you said is a lot to unpack, but
yeah. Sorry.
I can comment on several things. One, I don't think that moving forward, people are going to want to be reminded of COVID in things. I think that there's going to be a resistance to, like, having people in masks, for instance, on film, or like adding them into I imagine that there was a point in time where people were like, are we really going to put automobiles in the pictures? Like
yeah.
It was like this like new thing that, and maybe eventually, but I think people are really going to want to do everything they can to forget this year. That being said, I don't think that masks are going anywhere. I think we're just a mask-wearing people now.
Yeah.
And so I think that something like that eventually will be integrated. I think that people are not going to want to watch movies about COVID yet. And so art imitating life is going to take a lot longer than life imitating art. I think that we things like this adapting and that can be considered art imitating life, but I think that's about where it's gonna stop. This movie, even though it mentioned COVID and didn't steer around it, it's not like they were sitting there talking that much about it.
Yeah.
Just like in our real lives, you don't want to sit there and talk to your friends about it while you're trying to like hang out and have fun on Zoom.
Of
so
course. No, yeah, and that was one thing I thought it was. One, I was excited that you said you were going to talk about this film because I actually haven't seen it, but it's been on my list to watch. For the longest time, I thought it was called Stream. So I was like looking for it, like I know it's fucking called Stream, and it's not. It's called Host. So I fucked up there, but I knew through like the YouTube videos and shit that I watch about this film. But I just thought like the timing, like me listening to my other podcast and doing this, then you bringing this up, and how they were talking about how. And I think kind of what you said, like the whole automobile. Oh, are we really going to put that in like the pictures? Meh. Like
yeah.
that was a great example because think of like post-war. Did people want to make films about war immediately after war? No, they were trying to forget that shit. Like it was traumatizing. But then the military got a budget, and then they started like literally throwing money at Hollywood to make films specifically for it. So again, this isn't the same case. Maybe the whole mask thing was like a different, like is too specific. But
No,
I get what you mean. Like COVID played a part, but it wasn't like the main character. It set up the setting, but by the end of it, you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Right?
I think the war comparison is very good though, because you're looking at like Saving Private Ryan. People, if you put that movie on, let's pretend they had the same ability to do the effects and all that shit. You release that movie in 1948, people are like committing suicide inside the theater because they're having flashbacks and fucking PTSD, and there's mothers running out of the theater because they lost their sons in that war. Also, you know what I mean? Where
I have something to say on that though. I mean,
tell me.
The Passion of the Christ was released and nobody was around for that shit, and people fucking went wild in the theater for that.
Yeah, but that's religion. It's
fair enough.
Like it's. I think the reason people are crying over that is precisely because they didn't go through it, where it's the opposite, where it's like, I don't know anyone that was in World War II. My grandpa's had 3 brothers in World War II, but I really didn't know them. They died when I was a kid, so like I'm so removed from it that I watch Saving Private Ryan and I feel a lot of bad things when I watch it. But it's not so horrific that I'm tied directly to it. COVID has been fucking traumatic, and we're thinking of it as you both have had it. I fortunately have not up to this point, but that's lucky, man. Compared to a lot of people, my mom's friend has lost 2 uncles and an aunt and the uncle's wife, so her aunt. But all those 3 people were all siblings, and so her mom lost 3 siblings in the last 9 months. And so I don't think that people are going to be really quick to put out movies because the families of 350,000 people and counting are going to be a little bit sore about all of this and how it went down. Just like I think there's going to be 100 movies made about how fucked up Donald Trump is, but I don't think they're going to start coming out until we're like a little bit out of the woods.
Until he's moved to Russia and we're sure like he's never coming back.
Yeah, and he's with the fucking Kremlin. Eric says Passion was a horror film. To a lot of Catholics, it was a horror film, Eric. I have family who probably consider it a horror film. It was not a very good movie. That's it for Host. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that was it for me. Good choice, and it had a lot of great reviews, which is kind of shocking, surprising for found footage films. I think they typically don't. Yes or no?
They do not. They are not critically acclaimed. They're, as a matter of fact, they are constantly ripped apart by critics.
And I hate that.
And I do too. I think that it's a lot of what it is, a lot of what people are afraid of is that you can pick up an iPhone and make a movie. I think people that see filmmaking in a very old school way think that that's a desecration of the art. And while I kind of understand that, also, like, go fuck yourself. I think it's a beautiful thing that anyone with a vision can pick up an iPhone and make a movie. And so I think that that's what it is. But in the interest of time, that's the end of Host. So go ahead with your whatever you want to bring up next.
So the film I watched and was released in 2020 that I'm going to talk about that was fucking amazing. That I am still thinking about how it made me feel. Like, it gave me this just visceral reaction to everything going on. It was called His House. It's on Netflix, so you can watch it right now on Netflix if you have it. Written and directed by Remy Weeks, and it was his debut. And so, just very short, quick, little, just the story. It's about two asylum seekers from a dystopic South Sudan trying to make a new life for themselves in the outskirts of London. And it is a truly painful and so disorienting and this, like, existential, like, depiction of immigration / refugee survival. Not only are they having to seek asylum and follow the restrictive rules of their new temporary home, but they're having to do this while they're dealing with the emotional and violent trauma that they went through on their journey, to escape all of the already said trauma going on in their homeland. But then on top of that, deal with it quietly because, don't bother your new white neighbors with your third world country bullshit, right? Assimilate. And it's through this, or rather the assimilation that, that means losing a part of who they are. Again, we were following a couple, Bull and Rial. And you learn that they lost a daughter when they were on the ocean part of their trek there, which I'll talk about more of that later. And, it's really Bull, the husband, is trying to really assimilate, really push them, follow these new norms and follow what these people who have granted them asylum, all of their restrictive rules. But then at night, when the lights go down, when no one's watching them, just, to me, this film was the epitome of, representation and depiction of PTSD. There's a little spoilers. It'll be 6 seconds starting now. 3, 2, 1, go. There's a scene. It's, I think, the first or second night, and he becomes fixated on this hole in the wall. So he gets a hammer and he starts breaking all these holes. But again, he's hearing things. He's hearing the souls of those lost in said ocean, including his daughter, right? And you just see him sit in the middle of the night on the couch, and then he turns to, again, you see it's a lot of POV shots, and it turns to the wall. He's looking out the window to there, and you see every hole has this ghostly face of all the lost souls, right? And you see them with the effects of drowning, bloated, just terrible. So again, he's dealing with this, but then at the same time he wakes up in the morning trying to assimilate, to lose a part of himself. His wife Rial is just, she's not doing it. She's not about it. So there is a twist though. Their daughter, we find out later.
Real
Go
quick.
ahead.
So this person teabagged me, so I'm teabagging the fuck out of them.
Goddamn.
Because
Perfect.
Ghostface can do that.
Classy. Real classy.
And then take a selfie of it.
I'll try to take a selfie, but these guys
Yes.
are good. Oh, I guess I just gotta camp now.
So, moving on again, you see a lot of them trying to fit in. There's like this little really short scene of him trying to shop for more modern clothing, right, to fit in a little bit more. And it's that, typical, black man walks into a store and the white security guard follows him for no reason, right? Like, you even see that. Like, it's upsetting a lot of things. There's a specific scene with Riel, the wife, who has to go to a doctor to get checked on, and she's complaining about her handful of a daughter, and then compliments her scars on her face, and it's like, well, bitch, here's my background story, and then, continues to say, like, I have these scars because, you're part of 2 tribes, and, just telling her, like, like these first world problems. Oh, my daughter's a handful. Like, well, I just lost my daughter in the ocean, right? So, it gave me such a strong, like, I reacted to it so viciously that I was both crying / terrified / like all these things, because it's such a, you want to like reach into the TV and like either hug them or like get them out or like punch the neighbor who's just like, you should just leave, like you're gonna leave anyway, just leave now, like why waste your time, when they're trying so hard, and you see all the shit they went through to get there, what they escaped. And again, it's all shot like not some like documentary or thriller, it is a fucking horror, because they start then hearing voices through these holes in the walls that they become kind of really attached to, and there's some old like folklore that they bring in from their old like culture, of course, and it's this let's just say demon spirit that's basically saying like, kill yourselves and I'll bring your daughter back type of thing. And then when they're contemplating that, spoiler again, sorry, 3, 2, 1, go, their daughter Niaga, she was not their daughter. You see a short cutback of them trying to get on a bus that is now being shot down. Their chances of survival is if they get on the bus and leave, they survive. If they watch the bus leave, they're dead. They're being shot at. So you see Bull, the husband, look down at this little girl, basically grab her and say, we have a daughter, steals her, and you see the mother chasing down this bus with gunmen following her. So you know how the mother clearly died, right? But then now you have that, and then you cut again to the scene where they're in the ocean, and then they lose her because the boat flips over. Bull basically reaches for his wife and says, fuck it, she's not really our daughter. So it's all these things. So it's like almost playing off of the idea like, oh, they're not innocent, right? They had to do this and that to survive. But it's like, it's not a thing about innocence or not. It's just like fucking survival. Like what things that are going on in other countries that like they just want to come west, and like it was a lot. Just talking about it, it's like I can picture all of these things, but it's done so well. And again, it's directed and written by Remy Weeks. Please look him up. Like, look up interviews. His whole thing is just, he just seen the whole immigrant experience as a horror movie. That's the best, shortest way to describe it. It's on Netflix if you have it. If you don't, I'll give you my thing. Just watch it. I cannot talk about this movie enough, and I think I already did too much, but so good. And even then, like the few things I've noted, like you see them like as a couple, their relationship like struggling as well. You see him trying to assimilate, you see her like, nah, like we gotta go back, we gotta do this. And it's heartbreaking, it's tense, it's, again, to me, the most perfect depiction of PTSD in the most terrifying, horrific way possible. The end.
All right. Yeah, my suggestion is also look up Remy Weeks and who he is and what he says. If you, I don't want to give like a trigger warning, like you're adults and I think you can handle things well, but if you have had an immigrant experience in your life, you should approach this movie with caution. if your life involves an immigrant in some way, maybe your parents are immigrants. My grandparents happen to be immigrants. You're going to recognize themes, and it's going to be a lot to take for your heart and for your stomach. And also, if you're like into dystopian stuff, double on this movie being
Double that
for
much.
you,
Yep.
because it's really good on that part too. Not Orwellian dystopia,
No.
as Howley likes to misquote, but somewhere around there. Earlier, Caesar said he disagrees. War films are always put out during the war conflicts, used as propaganda material. I'm not overlooking that. I just can't think of a lot of those kinds of movies that, because I was never alive during like a world war, and for me, like when you look at like Jarhead or the movie about the sniper Chris Kyle, like that kind of stuff, you're totally right. It's used as it's used as propaganda. It's used as a way to glorify the military and military service, but also I think that I think my point was more that the trauma of events, like I don't think that Saving Private Ryan is really a propaganda film, because everyone in it dies so horrifically. That opening scene on Normandy Beach is so fucking horrific. It is so masterfully done and horrific to watch. It's hard for me to see it as a propaganda film. So, I think if war movies were more realistic and less propaganda esque, then that would be more like my point. I don't think people want to relive the trauma. I don't think there's a way to propagandize. There's no way that's a word. I don't think that there's a way to turn COVID into propaganda. At least not anything that anyone's gonna buy, or maybe on that other side with the Trumpers, maybe they'll. I mean, they've got a bridge. I've got a bridge to sell them, but yeah. Go ahead.
I think for me, the idea that I said, I kind of use that as an example, the whole war films. I think it's the timing thing. Yeah, maybe during, and fun fact, I learned this in one of my film class. The military does have, a budget for propaganda. 2/3, if not more, of that, which is we're talking millions, almost like millions of like tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. 2/3 of that goes straight to Hollywood, because they work with them, and specifically a lot of like Marvel, DC, like anytime, like think the last one, Captain Marvel, right? Like
Mm.
she's a Air Force, right? God, I haven't. Anyway, long story short, the military does have that budget set aside, and automatically 2/3 of it goes straight to Hollywood, and it's like, here, use this, and they have like a certain timeline. If a war has just happened, they're like, let's just take like a few, months break, let's see what happens, type of thing. If it's going on, they're like, fuck it, we need more people, let's like glorify this as much as possible.
Right. Right.
um there is a timing thing. I think I might be saying it wrong, or like kind of, you know how they work that out, but I do know that at least a minimum of 2/3 of their budget goes straight to Hollywood every time, like no questions asked, because that's how they get most of it out. That's, you go see like a new DC Marvel film that's coming out,
Two
if there's
thirds
any
of their
sort of.
propaganda budget.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I think there's no way that that isn't true. That you look at the quality of some of these movies that are put out, and how much they again glorify the war part of it. But again, in the interest of time,
Yeah.
first of all, Ernie getting quite a bit of praise in the chat.
Hmm.
Jared was paying a lot of attention, telling people when they should drink. Thank you, Jared.
Thank you,
Um,
Jared.
and also saying that Ernie had a good run, um,
Woo!
among other things. Congratulations, Ernie. Did you feel like it was a good run?
It was alright. Um, I was gonna play Doctor, but I don't really have anything good with him. Um,
Those are just the only ones I can name at the top of my head. That said, do you have a killer person that he could
You want me to play with the fucking twins?
The twins? He raised his hand at the twins, so that means yes in Sessa.
And yeah, so we owe Ernie at least another shot.
Yeah, I got 2 kills, so that was a shot there.
And we will go ahead and do that now. Everybody at home, this is for Ernie and for his kills.
This shot right here goes out to the Tit Goblin, Victor.
The Tit Goblin Victor.
Yeah. You
Cheers,
can see him
buddy.
on the screen right now.
Oh,
Cheers.
the Tit Goblin. I get it. I thought it was like one of your friends or whatever. I was like, that's a fucking
a
gnarly
mean name.
nickname. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh no. All right. So moving on. Again, everybody in the chat, if you want to give us some movies, I promise we'll go back to having more interactive things as we move forward. I know that everybody really liked it on the Christmas episode, including us, by the way. We were blown away by the participation, and we had a lot of fun with you guys. And so moving forward, we're going to try to do as much as that as we can. It's just for this particular episode, it was difficult.
Yeah, once I get my PC in, we'll be able to do more shit. So thanks for bearing with us while we don't have that yet.
Yeah, and as far as like this show is not scripted, but as far as the planning for the show, I'll try to get as much interactive stuff as I can built into the episode. It was just I did try to think of some stuff, but it was just really, really difficult this episode. Go ahead.
Just real quick, if anyone listening that even if it's not out of 2020 or you just saw it during the lockdown, you want to mention it in the comments, like any film that you saw, horror-esque, throw it in there. Like, let us know. We'll talk about it. We'll see what's up.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Thank you. And that's actually a perfect segue into my next film, because my film was not released in 2020. It just happened to be a movie that I saw in 2020. And that movie is called The Battery. The Battery, the first note that I have here is that this is a Josh horror movie. It is incredibly subtle. There is not fucking a bunch of jump scares and fucking a lot of CGI and that kind of shit. It just isn't. It's not there. It's not. I'm not being a fuddy-duddy. If everybody's having fun, there's no reason to be a poopy pants. But I don't have a I don't have a problem with that kind of stuff, and I enjoy it. But this is my shit right here. There's a reason I enjoy found footage. I like the art of not having all that shit and still trying to make something scary. And this is not found footage, but it is an indie film, and you're going to notice that it's an indie film. It's a zombie movie, which I thought was nice to add a zombie movie in here, even though I didn't do Peninsula. And it's just so fucking well done. It's really, really impressive what they do with the budget and what they have. It's really fun to watch because there's a very intimate relationship between the two main characters. They're both dudes, and it's not a homosexual or homoerotic at all. But
that would be bad.
No, not at all. I'm just like it's not intimate in that way. It's intimate in friends, buddy. It's not a buddy comedy, but it is a buddy movie. Because it's about so in baseball, and I don't get to talk about one of the loves of my life on this podcast very often, but we're going to talk a little bit of sports. In baseball, the battery is the pitcher and the catcher. That's the battery. I knew it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it is.
So, yeah, it is. That so in a practical way, if you're a professional baseball player, the the people that you spend the most time with are a group of catchers who there's like the guys that play, but then there's guys that the team literally plays to sit in the bullpen while pitchers warm up. Like they help pitchers warm up in the bullpen. And that's their whole job. They don't make a ton of money, but they make a lot more money than most people. That, you know, like they make triple figures. They make six figures. They make like $900 a year. And I'm like, that's more money than most people. No, they make six figures, but that's all they do. And those are the people you spend the most time with in the minor leagues, which is where these guys were. In the minor leagues, life is hard, ladies and gentlemen. Life is hard. You usually don't fly, which means that you're having to travel around the country on a bus. You are constantly traveling. You play like 85 to 90, possibly even like 110 now games a season. You're not making close to the amount of money that someone in the major leagues would be getting paid. And so it's a rough life. And you find out that these guys were playing whale shit, nobody knows your name baseball, because they love the game. And they are friends, they're a battery. And they get stuck in a zombie apocalypse. Okay.
No, it's not that. It's just on the game right now. This person has my baby, and it's fucking hilarious.
What do you mean they have your baby?
Like, if you look, the baby's like fucking stuck on her, and it's fucking hilarious.
Isn't the point that the baby's supposed to be stuck?
Yes, but like it just looks funny because she doesn't want to take it off. Like,
and she just like let it and like kept running around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just looks funny. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. It just, it was just too much. I couldn't.
That's all good. So anyway, so that I'm not. Is that a? Caesar's asking if it's a glitch.
No. Well, the way that how he's floating all stupid, yes.
So enough about baseball, I guess, but the concept of the movie is revolved greatly around that relationship, and it's very well, it's well done. There's a lot of very intimate conversation between these two people who have, you know, are facing the end of the world together and have not seen other human beings and have had to fight for their lives, and they're very different personality types, and so there's a lot of fighting. There's a lot of fighting that is relatable if you have someone like that in your life that you're close to romantically or otherwise. There's a lot of conversation inside of the movie that you're going to relate to. And on top of that, there's zombies. So it's not World War Z amount of zombies. It's not 28 Days Later amount of zombies. But they are there, and they are a part of the story, and I think that the horror in this movie is not, the zombies are almost horror B, and horror A is isolation. The theme of isolation is dripping. This whole movie is dripping with the horrors of isolation, of feeling by yourself, of actually being by yourself. How, even if you're so fucking sick of the person next to you, how in that circumstance, or in the circumstance that we're in, having someone is better than having no one, no matter what that circumstance is. They're not taking it as far as, like, if you're in an abusive relationship, you should stay because having someone is, no. But
it's like petty little arguments and like disagreements versus,
it's not,
like, you know, gaslighting and manipulation.
And there's just no physical abuse. There's no, obviously it's not a sexual relationship, so there's no sexual abuse. There's none of that stuff where you should draw the line. What these people are very good friends who are sick of each other. And there's something to be said about sticking with somebody because you love them, even if you don't like them in that moment. And it's beautiful. I honestly think it's incredibly shot as well, and very well written. And I think for me, the reason I chose it over other movies I had seen is because if you remember, early into isolation, early into quarantine, probably somewhere around mid to late April, we were dealing with something entirely different. It maybe right now is harder. I'm sure it is, as a matter of fact. But there was something uniquely difficult about the early months of this pandemic. The ideas of having to be isolated for the rest of the year. Do you remember when you felt that or when you had that thought for the first time? Like, they started saying, like, look, it's probably going to be 2021 before this even starts to slow down, and you're thinking, what the fuck, man? It's April. It's April of this year. How are we already talking about 2021? Like,
yeah, I remember that quite clearly. Not gonna lie, I was excited at first when they were like, everything shut down, because I was like, oh, thank God, I haven't had a day off in like forever. Fuck yeah, I'm gonna sleep. And then once that conversation started happening, I'm like, oh wait, fuck, like this is more than just like a little break for me. Like, this is like, fuck, okay, my mom has lupus, how's this gonna affect her? Holy shit, how long am I going to be unemployed? Am I gonna, like, you know, like, all of that started kicking in. I remember, like, the exact time that I went from, fuck yeah, drink every day and sleep, to, oh shit, this is real life.
yeah, and I think that, I mean, my initial reaction was the opposite. I love being, I work very, like, normal hours and stuff, so I like being out at night. As a matter of fact, I hate being by myself at night, and I've had a year of that, but I also remember thinking, this is gonna be what it is now. Like, this is just your reality. And there was something very sinister about the early stages of the pandemic. Even as terrible as it's been, there was something almost evil about having to sit and, like, look at the next 9 months of your life by yourself. And there's huge overarching themes in the battery that deal with those things exactly. And so it came into my life at a time that was very appropriate, but it helped me a lot. Helped me to really appreciate the people that are in my life and the capacity in which they're able to be in my life, even if it's not face to face and all that kind of stuff. So that's mine on the battery. I don't know if you have something to add, or you want to go to your next movie.
No, I this is one I have not seen. I did read about it, and in reading about it, I saw that it premiered at the Telluride Horror Show, which I did not know Telluride, Colorado. I didn't know they had like a film festival, like all like horror related. So that's really fucking cool. One. Secondly, in the synopsis, or rather the short plot that I read, I loved how you connected all of that to, like, everything you dealt with this past fucking year. And it's weird that, like, here it's being, like, you kind of mentioned, like, being portrayed with zombies, with, here it's like this invisible kind of something, but it's something.
Right.
Yeah, that was, I definitely putting it on my watch list. Also, the budget was $6,000. That's fucking kick-ass.
Yeah, dude. It's unfucking real.
Good for him. I saw Jeremy Gardner was written, and he starred in it too. So
yeah, unreal. Again, I love that technology is in a place where you can have $6,000 to make a movie and fucking do it. Granted, you look at stuff like Clerks, it wasn't impossible. Kevin Smith made Clerks on credit cards. He literally paid for the whole movie on credit cards. But so it's not like it was impossible before, but this movie looks so good. It
Yeah.
looks so good. The aesthetic is not on accident. You can tell there was a built-in aesthetic. There was an artistic vision. There was a vision from a photography standpoint, from a cinematography standpoint. There was all of that is consistent for $6,000, and it's fucking crazy that that's where we
Fantastic.
are with making
Um,
movies.
yeah, no, and it gives me hope. I think I've mentioned like I personally want to take a break from all the bar things, and my goal plan was always to go back to school. And the one thing I want to study further is screenwriting, which again I
Hell
did
yeah.
study film and everything, but screenwriting. I absolutely love writing one, but I love like the format of that. And I never had any sort of like, oh, I want to be a movie star. No, I want to be behind the scenes, like way back there, like the brain kind of, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
um, and seeing films, that have like a budget like that, but are received so well, and even like just having a cult like that to me is just like hope. It's like, yes, like do it, Michelle. Just fucking do it. Go study. Like write the things. Just do it. Anywho,
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. Like I said, someone got their start with hosts. You know what I mean? Someone was like, "I'm
yeah.
tired of fucking waiting for my dream. I'm not gonna let this pandemic get in the way. I'm gonna make it work for me." And so
Yep.
it's awesome stuff. So what do you have? Well, I know what you have, but why don't you tell everyone else what
Okay.
your next pick is?
The next pick did come out in 2020. Written directed by Lee Winnell. Okay, so when we decided that we were going to do, our favorite films of 2020, or just, horror films rather, what we're looking forward to 2021, what I did, I decided to go to YouTube and look up the like top 10 best lists, right? Specifically, top 10 best horror flicks of 2020. This fucking film was number one on multiple lists. You can tell I'm already mad.
Yeah, yeah.
This was The Invisible Man,
Oh, yeah,
with
yeah.
starring Elizabeth Moss. One, have you seen it?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I saw it when I was at the cabin. I was at
Can
our.
you explain, or rather, do you think it's as good as it is, like all the acclaim it's getting?
No, as a matter of fact, when it was over, I was like, that's 2 hours and 40 minutes of my life that I'll never get back.
Boom.
Um,
Cool. Thank you. I will say there is one scene that I can talk about that I'm happy about, and then the rest is just going to be me. Like, I'm going to read out a paragraph of a rant, and then that's all I want to talk about it. So, 3, 2, 1, spoiler, 3, 2, 1. The scene in the restaurant when she meets up with her sister, the knife is floating up, and again, Elizabeth Moss's character is like, "What are you doing?" Gets sliced in the neck, bam. That scene was pretty fucking cool to me. I
mhm.
didn't expect it, didn't see it coming. I thought, like, oh shit, she got away, whatever, she's gonna talk to her sister, whatever, right? Did not know the sister was gonna die. I didn't see any foreshadowing into that. Moving on. Okay, yes, I am a little biased. I dislike this actress, Elizabeth Moss. I'll say
What?
that. Mm.
Why?
So, I don't think she was a good choice for Handmaid's Tale. Which is what she's most known for. And I'm gonna admit as well, I haven't seen I've seen the first episode. And I think it's the same case here, that she was casted as this uh, oppressed female who is in this manipulative, gaslighting relationship that she's trying to escape. Why do I hate her so much? Because she's a fucking Scientologist. Okay?
Ooh.
So not to get too into it, but her playing these roles of like oppressed women forced to do things that she doesn't want to do, or being manipulated to a degree that she has to run away from her partner. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. You're literally paying to be part of a community or a quote unquote religion that endorses this. Okay, so no, you don't get to do that. Okay, and you don't get to make money off of that, because there's women out in the world who have actually experienced that. They're not actually. Okay, I'm getting worked up. Let me take a break.
Woosa. I'm also gonna be playing a Huntress, and it's gonna suck.
The
Um,
Huntress is the one that throws the axes, yeah?
Yeah, and I suck with her. But I was like,
Oh,
fuck it, might as well try it.
fuck it, senior year.
yeah, let's take
YOLO,
a drink
homie.
to that. Just because I got really worked up just talking about
Yeah, let's have a
it.
fucking drink. Let's have a fucking drink. Let's everybody
Drink to.
let's everybody take a fucking breath. Go ahead. Go ahead and cheers, Michelle.
Cheers to real women with real problems. Cheers.
Boom. Cheers. Take that, Elizabeth Moss.
And of course, I kind of do. I want you to maybe argue or kind of give your opinion after this, but I'm almost done with my little paragraph that I have written.
Go on.
So, yeah, so she, where was I? Yeah, so she's part of this community / let's just call it a religion that endorses this type of behavior. Specifically, I mean, there's people that have come out and said, like, you know, oh, when I was in, you know, part of the Scientology cult, whatever the fuck you want to word it, however, rather, like, I had this boyfriend and, you know, he raped me, but then the church basically covered up for him, and, you know, and it's always not him and her, like, you know, roles can be switched as well, but point being is that, you know, they cover up. Anyway.
Well, they're defending Danny Masterson right now for his rape allegations.
Exactly who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
As mentioned, I'm a huge fan of the Mars Volta. Cedric Victor Zavala's wife was one of the persons who accused him first and tried to take him to court, but then, of course, all of her attempts failed because the church kept doing all this shit to where they killed 2 of their dogs, poisoned another one, like, just crazy shit, and they have, like, a lot of this, like, you know, evidence, video, like, footage, shit, and, you know, and finally, you know, he anyway, I don't want to talk about that fucking guy. Moving on. I'll be here for another 4 hours if I am. So, going on to this film, really, let me, hold on, I have a paragraph. So, anyway, I also really dislike, and I wrote down I fucking hate, that this film did better critically and financially, rather the equivalent of what box office success was during the pandemic, right? Than His House, you know, critically and financially, again, did a lot better. And honestly, if we're talking Hollywood, if it made more money, critically, it will always be better.
Right.
Unfortunately, that does happen. I will say it's worth a watch, just one, maybe, but the entire time I was fucking watching it, I was just thinking of The Hollow Man with Kevin Bacon and just how hilarious that was, and I would rather be watching that. So, quick little plot. There's this fucking woman, Elizabeth Moss, played by Elizabeth Moss. Yes, unfortunately, she's in this very manipulative, terribly toxic relationship that she has to drug the guy to sleep to, like, for her to leave and run away. She's hiding in a friend's house who is a cop. Then he fakes his death, has a way, he's like an optics specialist, so he's like a multi-millionaire, has too much money, fakes his death, has his lawyer brother help him out, basically haunts her, and turns out, spoiler alert, 1, 2, 3, go, has this suit made of, like, a lot of little cameras that, like, make him invisible. So, in a sense, a little more realistic than the whole Hollow Man thing, but not as fun as Hollow Man. Long story short, she figures it out. She gets pregnant. This is where pregnancy thing, too, that I fucking hate. It's like a callback to, like, Handmaid's Tale, which, again, fuck her for being in it. Yeah, I don't know. Watch it, get your own opinion, yell at me later, whatever, but it's the, you know, the idea of being in a super manipulative, gaslighting relationship is the larger story here, which the first thing I thought of was Midsummer, and Ari Aster describes Midsummer as a relationship story, more so the end of a relationship, not so much a horror film. So I think they tried to do that, but it's not done as well. Right? I think Ari did a fantastic job with that. They did not. And I think if they had casted someone else to play the protagonist, I would have liked it more. I would have given it a little bit more hope, a little more, tried to, you know, but the entire time I was just a little too fixated on her. But seeing her play this woman in a toxic relationship is just a slap in the fucking face. Fuck off.
Well, I'm
angry.
I didn't know you were gonna take that approach. I thought you were gonna say like a lot of nice things about it, because that's what I thought we were gonna do. I'm glad that you didn't, because I couldn't find a lot of nice things to say about the movie.
I
heard it was good.
No.
Fuck. Well, so here I'll address, first of all, as someone who believes in the concept of the death of the author. Would I hang out with Elizabeth Moss? Maybe not now knowing this, but like she's either a good actor for me or she's not. Until your beliefs say. I come from a very religious family, and I know that the church is really fucked up, but they aren't. And so I just try not to go there as far as like actors and things like that. If I enjoy it, I enjoy it. And coming from that standpoint, I did not enjoy it. It is slow. When I talked earlier about how movies should cut the fat and be more selective about what they put in. This movie is a perfect example of that. It's entirely too fucking long. I think that Elizabeth Moss did an okay job. I don't think that, like, she even more than okay. She did a fine job, but I don't think it was worth, her performance was worth the critical acclaim that it got. I don't see, like, I didn't, in the movie there was not scenes where I thought to myself, like, that's a fucking fantastic piece of acting. Like, mostly it was the same shit that she was doing. And she's played characters very similar to this before, like cold and calculated and things like that. I thought that she kind of played a similar character in Us, as a matter of fact. And so I wasn't super impressed. The movie's too fucking long. The spoiler here is huge, because if without the spoiler in the movie fucking sucks. Like, it visually, there's a lot there that was accomplished in a huge way. I think that if I'm gonna take anything really good away from it, visually it can be stunning, and the effects that they had were pretty outstanding. But the story itself, and then just how fucking long the movie is, man, I can't even recommend it, like, to watch it once. I just can't. I literally had nothing else to watch. Like, our internet was out and in Redoso, and our DVD player was fried also. So I had my PlayStation, and I was able to rent a Blu-ray from the Redbox, and I happened to choose Invisible Man, but I couldn't watch anything else. I would have turned it off, I think, at some point, just because it was so fucking slow. And then it's the same shit over and over. Like, okay, he's invisible, and then, like, you know what I mean? Like,
make something happen.
Come the fuck on. And then something does, to be fair. You know? I mean, they do, there is a twist.
I will say the auditory, the oral kind of...
Yeah.
How they play with that. Yeah, that kind of oral. They do play with that, because again, it's an invisible thing, right? It's something like only you can see that she is feeling it, and to show it to the audience, right? They do play with sound, to which I thought, okay, that's good. I appreciated that for sure. I was like, I get it. But then they started using it too much, and I was like, okay, now we know every time that they were on screen. So I was like, but good try. I like that part. I did like.
Well, and so I think, we've both found things now, nice things to say about it, and so there's value there. And I think first of all, you don't dislike Elizabeth Moss as much as Michelle does, but then you're also like, you don't mind a long film like that. And it's not like I hate every longer movie. I don't mind if the movie's that long if I'm entertained the whole time, but I just wasn't. And so maybe it is for you, maybe you give it a shot, but I can't like sit and actually recommend it.
I think like a long film that I was like, holy shit, like I don't see anything that could have been edited. Like to me, like one, Midsummer was long.
Right.
I'm okay, all the things. Even then, I prefer watching the director's cut, which is like an additional 40 minutes, you know? Secondly, but everything has a purpose. There is no wasted words. There's no wasted time. There's no wasted anything, energy, right? Another
right.
one that I can think of is The Witch.
Yeah.
Which I think it was a little, you know, it had like a slow burn, but once it got there, it fucking went there, and it took you, and it fucking just dragged you throughout the rest of it. And I think that film is also very well done. Again, longer, but with purpose.
That's
There
one
is
of
not a
my
wasted
favorite.
moment.
That's one of my favorite all-time horror movies.
Fucking fantastic.
And so it isn't a matter of just like length or you know, the pace of the movie. If the pace of the movie feels appropriate and the time feels justified, I think that those, you know, you can sit there and play with those things, but I just didn't feel like they were with The Invisible Man, and so I guess it's gonna not get raving reviews on Death by Daylight. If you've seen it, let us know what you thought about it.
Yeah.
Ernie's heard it's good. Ernie and I have different taste in some things, and so there's movies that he enjoys that I don't, and so maybe he will like it. But
that's
I
why I
have some
watched
good
it.
news, though.
Tell me, do we take shots?
You got 2 shots.
Oh shit!
I didn't think I was gonna do good with Huntress, but I finally got the 4K of the evening.
Alright, and we can take a little bit of a break here. We're gonna get into the movies that we're waiting for, which is not, there's obviously not gonna be as much detail as there was with the stuff we've already seen, so we're winding down here on Death by Daylight, and we'll be getting into the last sort of section. So this is your last chance to give us some. I know, Bex, you gave us a movie, and I'm about to talk about it right after this, but anybody else, if you want to mention a movie to us from 2020 that you want us to talk about, or a movie from 2021 that maybe you would like us to touch on, we're happy to do that. And like I said, we're getting to you on the suggestions. So let's go ahead and take this drink. For Mr. Ernie, you toasted, right, Ernie, to something?
To Victor.
It's a tit goblin Victor.
Yeah.
That's on you, Ricky Bobby. I'd like to, I'd like to just take a moment and talk about, or cheers to, rather, horror movies. Just in general were such a saving grace for me this year. They help me. They really, honestly, it's one of the only genres of movies that truly helps me to just remove myself from everything that's going on around me and be engrossed in another world. That and reading books are basically the only things that help me to completely immerse into something else. And so, cheers to the horror movies, all the horror movies we watched in 2020, and here's to all the horror movies we will watch in 2021. Cheers.
Cheers.
Salud.
Ha. Yep.
Oh, it's just fucking gross. Oh. Alright, I've been drinking too much moonshine.
Do you guys want to see the memeiest build ever?
Yeah.
So like, there's a meme build for Myers called BK Myers or Fat Myers.
Fat Myers.
It's absolutely terrible.
It's terrible because it's funny?
It's funny. It's gonna be funny watching me do it. But
like, what makes it terrible?
Okay, So let me remove all the perks so it can be like a true Fat Myers build. Where's the last one? There it is. Okay. So, alright, so there's some add-ons that you can put to make him very terrible. So, Judas Tombstone, what that one does, if you get to Evil Within 3, you can actually kill people just outright, and then it takes a little bit longer to get to Evil Within 3, which is the meter that Myers gets when he's like stalking people. But it moderately decreases his movement speed, so it makes him slower. And then there's Vanity Mirror, which it doesn't let you leave Evil Within 2, so there's no getting to this. And then it reduces his movement speed as well, so it makes him stupid slow. And if you're in a chase with someone, they're faster than you, instead of you being faster than them.
What, and all of these, why do they even exist as perks? Like,
well, alone, like if I didn't run them together, they'd be pretty good.
Oh, it would be a trade, because you trade off.
But like when you combine them, it just makes him very
Super
slow and
yeah.
very shitty.
And do you think you can win with it?
No. Not even, so like, popular streamers, they don't do this build for like less than $100.
Oh shit.
So, you guys are about to see me fucking suffer, but it's gonna be hilarious. I should have probably done this instead of the nurse as the first one.
No, I like the on theme of suffering.
Yeah.
So
It's gonna be funny though, cause you'll see me chasing someone, and then they're just gonna run away from me, and I'm not gonna catch up.
sounds miserable.
Yeah.
So Bex suggested Books of Blood, which is on Hulu. Caesar has said Don't Breathe 2, which I know is coming out. Don't Breathe was a surprising success, like not to me, but people didn't think it was going to blow up like it did, and it did, and I thought it was great, and I am also excited about Don't Breathe 2. And Books of Blood, I unfortunately am unfamiliar with it. Have you seen it, Michelle?
I have not. I keep finding it's based off of like a series of Clive Barker's books, novels. I'm coming up with the books more than the. You said it was on Hulu, right? Let me just go find that.
Yeah, so I've got. I mean, there's at least an IMDb.
Oh, he got it. Okay. Yes. No, I haven't seen it.
Brandon Braga is the director. It says a journey into an uncharted and forbidden territory through three tales tangled in space and time. So maybe like something Magnolia-esque. But no, unfortunately, Bex, I haven't seen it. Neither has Michelle. But
can I ask one thing?
Yes.
If I get a kill with Fat Myers, we should make like a stipulation, like Josh takes like 2 shots straight to the face or something like that. Your chances of winning are very high.
Yeah, I mean, I'll bet you a shot. So like, if you.
But how about this? I'll bet you a shot too, so that way, if you lose, you have to take 2.
Yeah, if you don't get a kill, if you don't get a kill, you have to take 2.
Or rather, kill.
Oh no, I'm not gonna get any kills. I'm telling you.
If you don't get a kill, you have to take 2. If you do get a kill, then I'll take 2. But
like,
either way, we're both taking 1.
I'm not gonna get a kill.
Well, then why have the stipulation?
Because this is like the worst build in the game. Look how slow I am.
Well, that's fine. If you get a kill, I'll take 2 shots.
Watch, look, I'm about to get to a survivor right now. Just look how terrible this is. Like
I'm like a little bit behind, so
yeah, I know. I'm looking at the stream too. That's why I'm saying it. Come here, get back here.
oh my god, you really are slow.
Get back here.
They must be like, do they know that you're being?
They're gonna know after the game, like, oh, if they.
Oh, yeah, okay. He was doing it on purpose.
If after the match, if they looked and see my like perks, they're gonna be like, oh, this was Mimi. See, he even knows like. Watch. I think they know at this point.
That you did like a purposely terrible build.
Yeah, cause it's like in DBD it's like one of the like meme builds, like meme being like you just do it to fuck around.
Yeah.
And well, people request it from streamers like crazy, cause they want to see the streamers suffer. And like it's funny cause he even has like no lunge. Like normally you can lunge as a killer, but his lunge is so fucking trash. It's miserable.
Well, I like the on brand of suffering. It doesn't even look fun.
It's really not. It's fucking hilarious, to be honest. Like, look at I'm trying to catch this guy, and I'm like, come here! I can't even swing at him when he's like right next to me. Like, watch, I'm coming up on him. I'm coming up on him, and I'm gonna get him. And whiff.
Jesus. See, if you do that, like, if you're a killer, I guess, like, you don't have teammates, which is nice. Because you can do shit like this, and, I mean, I guess it's actually even probably kind of fun for the survivors, no?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if they're smart, they know, like, if they're, like, they know what's up, they know I'm being fucking Fat Myers. Cause look, I got super close to him, and then he just gets away.
I mean, it must feel cool as the survivor to be able to like especially if they suck and they're finally getting to run a killer. You know what I mean? Oh, you actually fucking hit somebody.
I've hit 3 people, but there's no catching up to them.
There's no catching up to them?
Well,
even when they're injured?
There's this Meg right here. Nah, because it doesn't slow them down if they're injured. But like, there's this Meg right here that's stupid, so I'm probably gonna down her. Yep.
You motherfucker.
I'm not gonna...
I see myself taking a couple shots in the near future.
I am going to camp the shit out of this Meg.
Well, I mean, I guess they don't have any room to be mad since you're fucking slow anyway. Jared says the music is perfect with the slowness.
It really is, dude. It's fucking hilarious.
Obviously I can't hear it, but I'll take your word
it's
for
the,
it.
like, ding, 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 ding.
Oh yeah, not the Michael Myers music.
Kinda.
Fucking Eric, do you remember when you and Johnny couldn't stop fucking doing that one? I don't think it was the fucking Halloween music. It was this but it was a horror movie, and you guys like would bust out simultaneously with it, but randomly as fuck. Like we'd just be sitting there watching a movie, and you guys would fucking start doing it. I don't remember what movie it was from, but that was like a very significant part of my life where I was like, there's like a theme to my life, that song. So moving on to the last. Go ahead.
Just real quick question to Bex, if you're still there. Books of Blood. Is it an anthology film? Like, I know it's based off of Clive Barker novels, and if so, that's like a good kind of segue to what I want, the film I was going to mention next, which was Candyman, coming out in 2021. So I just want to know, because again, one of those books from the Book of Blood, like, you know, one of the books in the anthology, Candyman is actually based off of them. So I'm just wondering if the film Books of Blood is an anthology, and if that is ever mentioned, or like, I guess which characters are mentioned. I just want to know if you're still there, because I love you. I want to talk to you.
So the reason, like Michelle said, the reason Caesar brought up Candyman, the reason I didn't mention it was because that's the one Michelle has chosen to talk about as her 2021 most anticipated movie. It is a Jordan Peele film, which always seems... he hasn't made a movie I don't like, personally. He for me is not only fantastic filmmaker. I don't know if you want to just consider Twilight Zone part of that film body. They're hour-long episodes, but the Twilight Zone episodes that, I mean, they're all his, the new ones, right? But his body of work in the Twilight Zone, the 2 seasons, so 20 episodes, fan-fucking-tastic.
The last one,
very
like
good.
how meta it was, like the writer with
The writer one?
Oh
Yeah,
my god, yeah.
The blurry man?
So
Dude,
good.
yeah. It was fucking creepy and very well written. The octopus one is one of my favorite ones that he's done. That also had... God damn it, why can't I remember his name?
I like that you're just cracking up.
It's 'cause it's funny.
I love it.
It was the Family Guy thing. Damn it, Eric. I still don't know. Like, I don't remember. I don't. But it was the Family Guy thing. They were making fun of something, weren't they? Like, making fun of something horror-ish. I don't know. Is that girl that was on the hook? Was she already there?
That looked like a glitch almost. I don't know. Are they supposed to like move around?
But do you have 2 hooks on that one girl?
Yeah, but they all cut out. She glitched, honestly, because she was not right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was miserable.
I'm so behind. You didn't get anything?
No, fuck no.
Oh, nice.
So you take 2 shots, right? Because it was a part of the bet too.
I'll take a shot because it's Fat Myers. I think we all should take a shot for me doing Fat Myers in general.
Yeah, I'm down to take a shot to close things out. So this will be the last episode of Death by Daylight. No, I'm just kidding. Ernie is going to do his last game after this, so you can have an idea of a time frame of when we're going to close out. I guess we could actually even close out without a match. We don't have too much left. We're going to be talking about Candyman. Go ahead.
I'll do one, and then like you guys can just fucking watch until whatever.
Okay. We're going to be talking about Candyman. We're going to be talking about a movie coming out called Antlers. And then we'll discuss some honorable mentions or whatever until Ernie's out. But so one more match is what you've got us for. Keep doing like these longer streams, which I'm okay with. But it's getting late. And we're going to take this drink for Fat Myers, and then we'll get into Candyman first. I can go first if you want, but since we already brought it up, I don't know if you want to just go ahead and go for it.
All I was gonna do was give a quick little plot of what they're planning to do. So, Candyman's going to be directed by Nia DaCosta. If you know her, she's gonna do the next Captain Marvel film. So that's pretty exciting for her. And it was written by her, Jordan Peele, and some other person named Wynn Rosenfeld, which I'm not too familiar with. But again, like as mentioned, it's based off of Clive Barker's character in the short story *The Forbidden*. Tony Todd is coming back to reprise his role. I'm so excited about that. And the idea, the story behind the new is just basically it's Chicago's Cabrini Green neighborhood. It's been basically torn down, made up with like new condos, gentrified as fuck. There's this couple that moves in. One's an artist. He finds out about the past, and he's trying to bring that into his art. And of course, shit goes to shit because you don't really fuck with the Candyman, nor you gentrify him that way. Oh my gosh, the other actress, she's also reprising her role, Vanessa Stowe Williams. She's making a comeback as well, but I'm especially excited about Tony Todd. Love this film. I love the original. The just the whole like socio-economic, like the class kind of, like how that is then. I think I've mentioned this before. Like I heard it first in my science fiction literature class. The whole idea that science fiction is basically just like real life, certain aspects of real life emphasized. I think this is a very, very good example of that, but it's a horror movie. Hold on.
Well, I think that's Jordan Peele's like forte, that concept of speaking about real life through horror and or science fiction of some sort.
I agree, very much so. I think when I saw his first film, Jesus, Get Out, and the first thing I thought of was that quote that I heard from that professor, that of course he got it from somewhere else. But then that's never left my mind, like watching films, being able to kind of pull that out of stuff. But this specifically, compared to the original, like I hated the main character. Like you're supposed to like her, but then she dies because she's stupid and she's playing with shit she doesn't know about. Because whatever, it's just, like a ghetto neighborhood or whatever the fuck she wants to kind of, talk it down to, like, oh, what bad can come out of that? Let me play with shit I don't know, and bam, very excited for this, very excited to see Jordan Peele's twist on it. This is something, like, if they showed it in theater, I'd fucking risk COVID to go see it, because that's how excited I know it's not funny to joke around. I'm just trying to show like how very, very, very enthusiastic I am to see this. Especially, I really wish my sister Amy was listening. She has been terrified of Candyman since I can remember, since like we first saw it.
That's badass.
I would fucking, like, I am 4 years younger than her. I would throw her into the bathroom with the light off and close the door and yell, Candyman, Candyman, Candyman. And she would lose her shit. If she was listening right now, she would just like turn it off, because I said it 3 times already. She's already like fucking crying. But the funniest thing was, I would throw her into bathrooms. She had the light switch. It was on her side, but she was that scared that she couldn't even figure that out. So I just love that. When she heard that there was a remake, she was pissed. She was like, don't even tell me about it. Like, I don't want to know. But yeah, Seth that I know is equally excited. I think he commented on that as well.
Yeah, he brought it up.
There's the whole rumor that Candyman's supposed to be the next killer in Dead by Daylight too.
Oh, I've talked about that with Seth. Oh my god, that'd be so cool. I would try to play it.
They thought that that Pyramid Head was going to be him, but then it was Pyramid Head.
I think that I think that's amazing that like someone is still, like, someone who's an adult is still scared of that so many years later. I think that means that someone did their job. Like
agree.
You did your job as the writer, the person that came up with the concept did a great job. The director, everybody did a great job, because that child is scarred for the rest of their life.
It got to the point where I'm so sorry. Just real quick before I forget.
Yeah.
To this day, I jokingly always send her like gifs or pictures of Tony Todd as Candyman, right? So I think one of the last ones that I was like, okay, dude, I'm sorry. Like, I get it. You're scarred. My bad. I'll stop. But she was like, imagine. She responded by saying, imagine being his wife. Like, she has to go to sleep and wake up to his face. Like, she's just scared. Not just, like, the character, but, like, the character is him. He is, like, she cannot separate that. Like, just sending him a photo of the actor, Tony Todd, just triggers her. Don't get me wrong, that kind of, like, I love it a little bit extra, because it's like, I get to fuck with my older sister. I'm the baby. Fuck you, They fucked with me my whole life with Chucky, it's my turn. But the story surrounding the Cabrini Green neighborhood, this like folklore and this, ghost story in said neighborhood, I think all of it is fucking beautiful. And yes, I agree. The fact that it still haunts her to this day, I think they did a great job. I think it's really good. I'm very, very fucking excited, if you can't tell.
I can tell. And I think it's with plenty of merit. I think people who've become fans of Jordan Peele and his very short directing career, short but prolific and very impactful directing career, we're just waiting for his next project, whatever it is. And then when you hear it's something like Candyman, obviously very, very, there's a lot to look forward to, and I think, speaking to just having that kind of fear stay with you and resonate with you as an adult, even though you obtained it as a child. For me, there's plenty of stuff that did that, and I look back on it. Some of it's still terrified, but a lot of it, I have a lot of admiration for what those people were able to accomplish. Jared says, I haven't seen The Twilight Zone with Jordan Peele yet. What's it on? It's on Amazon. Oh, it's on CBS. So you unfortunately can pay for CBS through Amazon Prime. It's like a $3 a month extra add-on, or you can since there's not really a lot else on there. For me personally, you can just get like a CBS free trial, and you can knock out both seasons in a week easy. I think I did it in like 2 or 3 days, which is a lot. It's like 20 hours of TV, but I was fucking hooked. Rod Serling is one of my fucking heroes.
Scott Sterling?
Scott Sterling. Fucking the man, the myth, the legend, Scott Sterling. If you don't know what that is, Google it. It's a fucking hilarious ass video, and I don't say that lightly. There's a lot of videos that I don't have a lot of time for, but that video is fucking incredible. The Rod Serling is one of my heroes, all-time heroes. People don't understand what your favorite fucking sci-fi TV show, your favorite anthology TV show, your favorite horror TV show, some of your favorite horror movies. Rod Serling was the grandfather of that shit. Of course, there was radio plays and all that stuff before TV that were horror-esque. But Rod Serling has a hand in anything that you enjoy right now in any of those genres or those realms. Rod Serling is partly to thank for the existence of whatever your favorite thing is. I know Jared loves Supernatural. Thank you, Rod Serling. Black Mirror, if you're a Black Mirror fan, thank you, Rod Serling. And so I just love Twilight Zone, and I couldn't fucking wouldn't want it in any other hands besides Jordan Peele's. So the CBS streaming is where you're gonna find that, Jared. I think the guy who plays Candyman is also in The Rock with Nicolas Cage.
I think one of my favorite parts of Candyman is at the beginning, where they go to the restroom and they're like, "I heard you were looking for Candyman, bitch." Like, it's so stupid, but it's like one of my favorite fucking parts of that whole movie.
It's like very 90s, that whole
Yeah.
sentence and
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I heard you were looking for Candyman, bitch. The Candyman always, like, makes me think of Joyride also. Because of Candy Cane. Like, when the fucking guy from Joyride is talking to Steve Zahn, he's like, Candy Cane. Candy Cane. Like, that always makes me think of Candyman and vice versa. But I think that I mean, I'm very excited for it too. As a matter of fact, it was something that I thought about just saying that we were both really excited for this movie and just call it a day. But I do want to talk
If you
about
want, like-
Antlers.
Yeah, like talk about that and just quickly mention like honorable mentions. Just like shout them out. Just be like
Yeah,
this,
so-
this, and that.
Well, so Halloween is coming out with a new
Yeah.
installment this year. We're going to get a new Conjuring. It's called The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, which sounds badass. I'm sure it's just going to be a bunch of jump scares and CGI, but we'll see about that one. There was something else Conjuring. They were supposed to come up with another offshoot, but it got delayed. They're saying that might come out this year. You're looking at, like Caesar said, fuck, I'm blanking on the fucking name. Don't Breathe.
Don't breathe too.
Don't Breathe 2, which I'm very excited about. But, like, for me, the movie that I was going to bring to the table for most anticipated is a movie called Antlers. I was going to talk about a movie called You Should Have Left. And the reason I was going to talk about that movie is, first of all, I thought it hadn't come out yet. Apparently it came out about 4 months ago. And is because that movie, I don't know if they mention Mark Danielewski in the movie, because again, I haven't seen it, but the concept of the movie is largely not based on, but
The House of
because-
Leaves.
Yeah, it's House of Leaves.
Yeah. Holy
Um,
shit. Wait. Sorry. That continue. I'm gonna shut up. Sorry.
No, please.
I
go
got
ahead.
so excited. No, dude. Ah. So the reason I graduated high school in 2010, so I just need to like place my age. House of Leaves was published in 2000. This was one of the first books that I ever landed in my hands, and I saw and read, and I was like, holy motherfucking shit! Like, this can be done with this format, like this art. Again, I grew up in Marfa, so art, the term, the ideas, everything was always being fucking thrown around me, but the one thing I never saw was like literature, was, you know, like written forms of it. And then this quite literally fell into my arms, and I was like, wow, okay, cool. But, you know, if you've seen Reddit, like, this is the one thing that I have so many notes, like, sticked onto, like, have read the thing, the spine is broken, like, all sorts of things. I did not know this is kind of like the film. I'm sorry. Please keep talking before I just,
Well-
like, have an aneurysm.
No, I think that your reaction to hearing House of Leaves or what, you know, it warranted, to say the least. I think Mark Danielewski stands alone as a horror writer, and I think that House of Leaves stands alone among his work. Not that the rest of his work isn't very good. It is.
It is, I agree.
And his
Yep.
body of work is tremendous. But House of Leaves is one of the best books that I've ever read.
Oh
and
my gosh,
you
yeah.
know, I'm a literature major. I have a degree in literature, so
Creative writing major. Woo!
yeah. I mean, we were forced to read a lot of things that we probably didn't want to read all the time. I know I certainly was, but this stands among the hundreds and hundreds of books I read just in college, this book it stands alone.
This I
and
definitely read rather beforehand. I have to give this credit as the reason why I went to college to study writing, because I wanted to see how a book like this was formed, and how, like, just basically breaking the mold of like traditional writing. Like, I'm sure you read a shit ton of Shakespeare, right?
yeah,
Like you had to.
yeah.
Not saying that's bad or anything, but compare that to how like this was, like, again, the form being broken. Anyway, continue.
I would never in 1,000,000 years suggest Shakespeare to anyone. Like it's important and it's very good if you're willing to like sit and analyze and understand. But if you're like a casual reader, I would never be like, oh, read the fucking Merchant of Venice. Like, no. What I would tell you to do if you're a casual reader and you've never fucking read a novel in your life, or you've only read a couple and you want to get into reading, what I suggest is House of Leaves. It's gigantic, it's very long, and there's a lot of text, but you can take it a chapter at a time, which is not very hard to do, and you can be immensely fulfilled with the reading that you're going to do one chapter at a time. One of the best books that I've ever read, one of the best horror books, maybe the best horror book that I've ever read. Anyway, this movie I don't know if they give him any credit. I don't know how much it goes into it, but in the trailer, Kevin Bacon is measuring the house, and he's going like, this doesn't add up. Like, the inside of the house measures longer, 1 foot or whatever longer than it should. In House of Leaves, that's how the book starts. I mean, there's like a lot of stuff that happens while the measuring is happening, but there's literally, and I went and checked in my copy today, there's literally 3 pages dedicated to measuring in one spot. Like, they talk about it a lot more than that, but he goes on for 3 pages about the measuring inside the house, and how and they weren't even a foot, it was a centimeter off. It was, or several centimeters off, and he says, like, it's driving me fucking crazy, because I'm an engineer, I know what I'm doing, I know how to do this, and the measurement is off, and it bothers him, and that's where the insanity of the book starts. And so I don't know if they gave him credit, I don't know if they're paying homage, I have no clue, but if it's based in any way on House of Leaves, I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't live up to the book. Because nothing, even other books, don't live up to that book. So go check out House of Leaves. I think I only wanted to talk about this movie specifically so I could mention House of Leaves.
I mean, thank you. Like, I'm very excited to... I'm in my library. I'm looking for my copy right now. I did see on the Wikipedia page of the film, it's like one of the last things, I think, in the... like, as far as the reception, what people thought of it, the filming, and it does say that it feels like it just kind of ripped like House of Leaves, and like it picked and chose, like, I'm gonna put this here, there, without, like, that's the only mention of the book or the author.
Well, then that's super shitty, because it's such, like, the measuring thing is so fucking creepy. You would never think to yourself in a million years, like, I'm gonna be really creeped out about someone talking about the measurements of a house. And then you read House of Leaves and you're like, this is profoundly unsettling. This is incredibly unsettling. And I'm on page 21 or whatever of like hundreds of pages. I think it's like 400 and maybe even more than that pages, but you're so unsettled. I think is unsettled throughout the book, but you're so unsettled by him talking about these measurements and the lengths in which he goes to make sure that they're accurate. Getting equipment from a university, getting his brother to come up that he doesn't have a good relationship with, all over this minuscule measurement, trying to get it right. It's just so fucking brilliantly done, that one part of it. and for them to just like fucking bastardize that one part of House of Leaves and throw it into the whatever they're doing is kind of upsetting. But the other movie that I was going to talk about very briefly.
I want to show you guys something. So, this person here that I have on the hatch, they kind of like the other person, this guy over here, he was waiting till she died to jump in there, and I brought her over here to the hatch because I knew where it was, and I hooked him, and sure enough, I threw her on the hatch, and then I opened this locker, and he's hiding in there. So, she's getting hatched, and that guy's dying.
Because you've chosen it that way?
Because he was being a bitch, and she was doing a gen.
Sure.
She was trying to actually play, but then when I found her, she just kind of stopped, and like I was like, nah. I know this guy's just looking for the hat, like waiting for her to die for the hatch, and not gonna do shit.
Sure.
So he's gonna die, and she's gonna get the hatch.
Fucking Judge Sapien. Fucking taking care of your fucking heaven and hell needs. Yeah. So, read House of Leaves. Don't watch this movie if you want Kevin Bacon. But whatever you do, read House of Leaves. Jared says, The Conjuring, The Devil's Rejects made me do it. Directed by Rob Zombie. That's funny. He also says, hey guys, I just want to let you know that Scott Pilgrim is coming out again for PS4, Xbox, and Switch. If you know about Scott Pilgrim, don't sleep on this one. It's fun solo, even greater fun with friends. Check out the trailer.
It's a good game.
I watched Jared beat this game. I know that sounds crazy, but I used to just like, before Twitch was a thing when we were younger, I used to just watch Jared play video games.
I'll fucking I'll get it, and then Jared and I can play on stream.
Yeah, fuck yeah, and I'll get it too. I love Scott Pilgrim is one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's what
Hatch very Justice. Excited about that.
He just said Hatch Justice, because
yeah, and he said
that. He's excited for the Hatch or for Scott Pilgrim?
Both.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I read all of the Scott Pilgrim graphic novels. Nice. I'd like to say that I read them before the movie. I did not. I saw the movie and then read them. I have them. I have them physically and digitally. They're fantastic. I really, really love those books. I love the movie, and so I'll definitely play the game. We can all play together. But yeah, I watched Jared beat that game. He says check out the trailer, and then of course Caesar said Hatch Justice. The other movie that I was going to talk about, just to get to the end of this, is a movie called Antlers. This movie was actually filmed in 2018, but was supposed to come out in 2019, then there were problems, was then moved to 2020, but because 2020 happened, and so many things were messed up, and so many things got delayed and all that stuff, it has now been moved to a 2021 release. And this isn't a Josh horror movie, or at least it doesn't look that way. It's not indie at all, but you know what it is? Directed by Guillermo del Toro.
Nice.
Boom.
Yeah, it's good enough for me.
Love Guillermo. Go to Patron. Thanks, Michelle.
Oh yeah, thanks for the tequila there, Michelle and Caesar.
Of course.
I loved that tequila so much that we paid full price for it. And I think that Guillermo del Toro, anything that he has his hand in, tequila or movies, is going to be good. It's going to be, for me, he doesn't have a weak spot in his very long resume. There's nothing that I can point to where I was like, this was kind of a misplay.
I mean, I have an entire leg tattoo dedicated to his film, so...
Boom. Even more of an endorsement than I could possibly offer. But, so the movie looks beautiful. It looks fucking gorgeous. The aesthetic is something that I'm definitely fond of. I like what I've seen so far. But on top of it being an enjoyable aesthetic, it's just undeniably beautiful. An absolutely stunning. I mean, go watch the trailer and you'll think to yourself, this looks like a beautiful film. It focuses on a kid, which I'm not always a big fan of. I think kids are plenty creepy, sure, but I'm not always thrilled about the acting that they're able to provide. That being said, this does look like the actor was chosen well and does a good job. It's set in like a mountain town, a small mountain town. That's great for me. I love stuff like that. Oh, I was gonna mention with Host, my favorite subgenre of horror, outside of like found footage and all that stuff. Like my favorite trope, rather, in horror, maybe a subgenre of a subgenre, is when a dinner party or something of that nature goes terribly wrong. So, fucking The Invitation, Coherence, the End, all of those movies where like a group of friends gets together, reunites, has a reunion, and then things just get really fucked up. That's like my favorite storyline. But up there with my favorite storyline is the small mountain town, terrible shit happens there. I love that. The Fourth Kind is a perfect example of that. There's obviously a lot of movies like that, but it's right up my alley. So I'm excited about Antlers. I'm excited about finally getting to see it and it finally getting released, and Guillermo del Toro finally having his movie reach people. I think if I can't imagine anybody listening isn't familiar with Guillermo del Toro, but if you're not, get familiar. He's
You're missing out.
yeah, I
There's
mean
also
it just
a lot of books where it's his artwork, rather, like the characters from everything from like Hellboy to Pan's Labyrinth, like everything, like TV shows included, and it's just like the concept behind how, it started from like first sketch to like the final product. I found it, I think, like at Barnes and Noble. I forget the name. But it really is Guillermo del Toro, but it's just the characters, right? Like all the creepy, interesting, weird characters, and the literally like the drawing process from, again, early sketches to final product, and even just that on its own, like you see the process that he goes through and the edits he makes to fit the story and the writing, and it's just so holy shit. Like, I want to be like that level of attention to detail when it comes to my writing, that like I have this exact specific look for a character, which is hard to do, but like he's fucking great.
well, he's one of those artists that other artists are jealous of.
Hmm.
I think outside of whatever art it is you do. So like, I'm not an artist. I don't draw. I can't draw. I can't paint. I'm not a visual. I don't make visual art. Period. I'm a musician and I'm a writer, so I consider myself an artist. But I'm not a visual artist, and I'm jealous of his visual art. I'm jealous of his storytelling as someone who's also a storyteller. I'm jealous of his ability to be a storyteller, and what he's been able to put out. So just some like brief mentions of what he's done. The Hobbit film series. Um, he did Pacific Rim, which I
I thought
didn't
it was
know.
interesting. Yeah. I
I I
watched it
I
and
like
was
it.
sold
Yeah.
afterwards. No, I dug it for sure. But I was like, the fuck?
Well, and Charlie's in that movie, which
And
makes it
I
even
mean,
better.
of course I watched it.
Pan's Labyrinth is probably one of his best known work, if not his best known work.
To
Shape
me,
of
it's
Water is up there
the
as well
best.
as his best known work.
Yep.
And then Hellboy stuff, Blade 2, which is actually a
Like,
great
yep.
movie.
Yep.
The Orphanage, which I like, not one of my favorites of his. Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, which is fantastic.
Fucking great. That's all Sessa right there.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
fucking love Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. The Hobbit stuff I mentioned, and I just love Lord of the Rings. So, and then he did Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which wasn't my favorite film, but was also very good. And he's also written a lot of fucking stuff that you've heard of that I'm not going to get into all of it. And then produced a bunch of stuff as well, including Kung Fu Panda. But if you're not familiar, get familiar. He's very, very good. And like I said, not all of his movies. I'm not 100% in all of his movies. I'm not a Hellboy guy, for instance. But you can't watch Hellboy and say it's a bad movie. No fucking way.
If you guys look, they're booping my Snoop.
This is something collective that they do. Like this is something they know they should do.
Boop. Boop. I'm the pig. Boop.
Oh, The Strain. Yeah, so I wanted to mention the TV series.
The
Strain.
FX series, The Strain.
Yeah, which is him as well.
Very, very good. Creepy as fuck, The Strain. Kind of hard. Not hard to watch because it's bad. There are parts that are hard to watch because it's fucking disgusting, but it's very good. Yeah.
To continue with the just mentioning upcoming 2021, I wanted to say A Quiet Place Part 2. I really did enjoy the first one. There was a lot of good things against. Again, it's the idea of like the whole like not oral, but aural. Let me just emphasize the aural kind of effects, you know, because it's funny. Me, Sasan, and a friend went to go watch it at Alamo Draft House, but we were all very, very hungry. So we ordered like all this food to watch it because we were again starving. Of course, we were drinking as well.
And you're fucking
and it was
crunching
funny.
and shit.
We were just it was just so loud. We were like, such a bad idea. It was such a bad idea, but lesson learned. Really good. I loved it. I loved that spoilers that John Krasinski's character died because, you know, for me, if your main character dies, it's just like, yay, they care about the writing, not about the characters, or like, you know.
Especially since it's his film.
And it's his film, exactly. Yeah, that's why. Like, you know, like you don't see Quentin Tarantino killing off his own character.
Well, in Django.
In Django. I was gonna say, you heard me take that back. The other one, Sasada mentioned in the comments, I don't know if you did Don't Breathe 2?
Yeah, I mentioned it.
Which, just Don't Breathe 1, god damn it, so fucking... I don't know what to expect from the second one, I'm scared. I'm just gonna say I'm scared.
Because you expect it to not be as good?
No, I'm not expecting, as far as like quality wise, it's more of like that film is one of the films that bugged me, not rubbed me, but like it just gave me this visceral reaction because of the scene in the basement with the fucking turkey basement. That's all I gotta say.
Oh.
That was too much for me. That was disgusting.
Don't you watch Terrifier, like, a lot?
Oh my god, I love Terrifier, yes. But that's different. Like, you're at least like she's being killed and not having to live through it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
I mean, that sounded fucking terrible saying it out loud. But you know, there was another movie I wanted to mention really quickly, another two. One, Antebellum. It came out in 2020. I haven't seen it yet. It was not written, but I think it was just... I know Jordan had something to do with it. I forgot what he did exactly. Do you know Antebellum?
I want to say that he was a writer, maybe just a producer.
I think he was just a producer, but he still was a part of it. Did you watch it? Because it did come out.
No, I definitely have not watched it.
It was the end, like September of 2020. So it got mixed reviews, but I love me some Janelle Monáe and also Jenna Malone. I've had a crush on her since forever. I like the story that's behind it. I know that's not the future, but I still haven't watched it. So, and then lastly, no, I think that's it. Yeah. No, I lied.
Oh, Jenna Malone, yeah. Jenna Malone is a fox. Go ahead.
Dude, Jenna Malone, yeah. Right?
Yeah,
Right.
yes.
This is 2022, but Scream 5.
I thought they were releasing at the end of 2021.
I did too, but they pushed it to January.
I was actually really surprised that wasn't your pick.
Because of the move to 2022, it was. That's what I was going to talk about. But because they pushed it back, I was like, it's not 21, and I really wanted to talk about Candyman. But I couldn't leave without mentioning that.
So catching up on the comments before we call it here. Jared says, well, we'll get to that. Jared says Del Toro who? Just kidding. Del Toro ho. Jared says, I love the first Pacific Rim, giant robots versus giant monsters. Jared, yes. I have not seen the second one. I have no recollection of the second one, but I did watch the first one and liked it. Jared says Hellboy is awesome. I know you love Hellboy, and I'm just not a Hellboy guy. And he says the strain is good and the book is good. The audiobook is narrated by Ron Perlman of Hellboy. Caesar says not Ron Perlman audiobook, downloading that ASAP. Jared says, haha, yeah, Caesar, he does the strain on Audible. And then Jared finally asking what everyone is asking, what the fuck is going on?
So, these two, the little bunny and the other one, they did not boop the snoot. Well, they did boop the snoot. This one didn't. And I told them not to.
You're the killer, yes?
Yes.
But you're somehow working with survivors?
Yes. They were booping snoots, but they betrayed me, so now they're getting hooked.
They didn't boop this.
These two were booping the snoots, the other one wasn't. And they betrayed me by rescuing the one that didn't boop the snoot. So now they're getting hooked.
Is this like a game within a game that people just understand?
Kinda. It's because when you're the pig, you can like crouch down and they can poke your nose.
Got it.
And it's called booping the snoot.
Yeah.
But like a survivor has to know. How did they know you weren't just gonna fucking kill him? Like, I don't know about this boop the snoot thing.
It's because I fucking... I crouched down. Oh wow, they got lucky because one of them actually got off the hook here.
Like Kobe'd off the hook?
Yeah, they Kobe'd. So I'm gonna let them live because they're booping me.
This is so weird to watch.
What the fuck?
What the fuck? It's so weird to watch.
I'm sorry.
It's kind of unsettling. Like, it feels scarier somehow that they're involved.
I know, right?
Especially right here where they're booping me and I'm like, yes, give me the boops.
Why is that? Why is this part like? Why did they make that animation possible?
It's just been a thing.
It's so weird. I'm glad they're being cool about it.
They know. Give me one more. Aw, they didn't want to give me one more boop. But look how they're like, okay, we're getting out now. And I was like, give me one more boop. And they're like, no. Oh, that's funny. I was just like, because we had said one more match, and I was like, yeah, I'm just going to play the pig and have them boop my snoot. And it turned out better than expected.
Yeah, that was disturbing.
Yeah, they know because they're like red rank fucking survivors. This person
Jared... Go ahead.
This person that died fucking should have known because they were a red rank too, but I killed him.
They're like, fuck this. Jared says they done booped. I like how you shook. No, I like how you shook your head. Caesar said they done booped. Jared said the constant growling is hilarious. Caesar said the snoot. Caesar said bunny booping was the best part of the match. And Jared says laugh my ass off, boop me now. And Caesar says he'll drink to that.
It's because
Michelle can either confirm or deny.
You guys couldn't hear it, but like every time like I was like looking at them like crouching, I was like, because the pig makes like a growling noise, so it was like like boot me now.
Isn't it supposed to be a person from Saw?
Yeah, it is. It's Amanda from Saw.
But she's like growling and shit for some reason.
Well, remember in Saw when she would like surprise someone, it would be like roar, like
okay.
That's the growl that they did on it.
Well, whatever it was unsettling. I didn't like that you guys were like nice to each other and shit. It made it scarier for me.
I was not nice to that one person that didn't boop me, so.
Well, that's what made it scary. It looked like you were all three sacrificing him.
They should have. I don't know why they pulled him off. They were initially doing it because they were like, no, you didn't boop.
I like that. I actually like that game.
The other person, I didn't see them at all, so they just like fucking did gens and was like, peace, I'm out.
I'm not gonna deal with the pig. Jared says, which I don't know if he's referencing waking the cadaver or just trying to do a regular pig squeal. But
Caesar, the grunting is all I heard in the match. Oh man,
a little fucking truffle pig.
All right, so I'll let you guys close out.
Well, I mean, we're done.
Okay.
We've just got to.
I got to bitch about Elizabeth, so I'm good.
Just
call her by her first name.
Follow us on social media, you know, because we still have one. So.
Oh.
Yeah, unlike the leader of the free world, we still have our Twitter account at Death by Daylight.
Simple rules to not like
telling the truth and not inciting treason. We have a Twitter account that isn't suspended at Death by Daylight. We have an Instagram that is not suspended at Death by Daylight. You can follow us on Facebook. You can follow our individual accounts. We'll tag ourselves in the next Instagram post, so if you want to, you can follow our individual accounts as well. I don't know if Michelle wants you to follow her or Ernie wants you, but I'll post at least mine, and they can if they want to too. And you can check us out there. Please like our video. Please subscribe to our channel. Please tell your friends that we are back to doing this. Hopefully at least once a week. We are obviously very busy and things like that, but that's not why we miss. Like, it was intentional that we haven't been on since Christmas. We just wanted a little bit of a break, and we wanted to give ourselves a chance to get into the new year and all that stuff without having to worry about putting an episode out. But now that it's over and we're back to real life, we're going to be doing this on the regular again. If you'd like to be on an episode and you want to talk to us about something maybe, or you have a topic you think would be interesting, you can comment here. You can reach out to us personally about any of that stuff that I just said. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Thank you for showing up on Friday nights. We really appreciate it. We appreciate you guys out there. Megan, Luis, Violet, Jared, Eric, Bex. I don't know who else was out there. Did I miss anybody that commented? Caesar, of course. It just feels weird because he's in the same room, kind of, as we
Yeah,
are.
he's sitting right next to me.
I always hear like a comment here and there.
Yeah.
But yeah, of
Like,
course. Caesar.
shmeh.
Shmeh. Or that.
So thank you, Caesar, for hanging out. We'll take one more drink, and then that'll be the end of us. Take a shot to Booping Newt.
Booping the snoot.
Boopin' les snoots.
Alright, Booping the Snoot.
The snoot.
Little piggy gonna watch out for number one.
I like that. Can you do that again so I can dance some more?
Oh, sorry, that shot was fucking bad. What fucking song? I mean, I know it's a Coheed song. I can't remember what fucking song it's from.
Aha. I hear it in my head.
Ernie, no?
Nah.
How can all three of us not fucking come up with it?
I'm a little
Can you sing it
inebriated.
again so that Susset can hear it and then he'll tell us because he's good like that?
Oh, little piggy gonna watch out for number one. Ain't gonna up in the stand. Pull that trigger. It's Gravemakers and Gunslingers.
There you go.
That's what it.
You win.
Boom.
And with that,
Coheed and Cambria, check them out. Jared says, yes, Josh. When I was talking about waking the cadaver. Caesar says if you gotta boop the snoot, if you want to live the. You gotta boop the snoot if you want to live the poop. And Jared says, cheers, guys. I'll catch you guys on the next one for sure. Thanks, buddy. Everybody have a good night. And Jesus isn't here to say fuck.
shmeh. Okay, bye.